I would like to start out this episode of No Neutral by shouting out my brother, my No Neutral co-host, and one of the hardest working players in the FGC, Brian F. He's not here with us today to shoot No Neutral because he is dealing with some health issues, but even with him going through those things, you see that my man just won World Warrior Midwest, which we will talk about later on in this episode. But much love and shout out to Brian F. and the Dumpster. Make sure you guys all tweet my man some positivity and support. Don't worry, he is strong, he is fighting hard, and he is still cooking up. But I can't speak about cooking up without talking about the man them, the one and only, one of the fastest rising stars in the FGC on the commentary side. And this poison is pretty good too, I'm not gonna lie to you. My man's Jammers stepped in for my man's Brian F today. What's going on, Jammers?
You know what? Again, shouts to Brian. We wish him well. We wish him that speedy recovery. But I've got to give props to Rob TV for inviting me on the show for No Neutral. Gave me the message and said, you know what? Let's talk up. Let's chalk up some street fighting. You know what? You're giving me praise. I'm going to give you praise real quick, man, because like in about the span of like a month and a half, you've been flying over to Hollywood. You've been doing other big events as well. And you still got time for the FGC. And I'm going to presume that you're still going to be kicking it up in Street Fighter League this upcoming season as well. So, I mean, you've been a busy man yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back, man.
I appreciate it, bro. I don't want to, on No Neutral, I do my best not to talk about myself or nothing like that whatsoever, but I appreciate you saying that, bro. And yeah, Street Fighter League, I'm definitely looking forward to that, hosting and everything. And when it comes to Street Fighter League, one of the things that I'm most excited about is that we have Street Fighter League EU this year, and we have Street Fighter League Japan coming back. Big shout out to all of the Japanese supporters, always showing us love, and of course the commentators and translators over there on the desk. Arigato gozaimasu. Now, we need to talk about CPT Brazil because everything was, bro, that is actually one of the best regions, one of the most exciting regions in the world. And I think CPT Online has done so much to open our minds to just how much talent there is worldwide, because Brazil, that's a place that I did not know the true level of play when it comes to Street Fighter that was going on down there. And Jammers, you remember us being excited about them back at the Intel World Open. They showed us how good they were.
This is what's crazy, right? And you can never really underestimate just the global scene for Street Fighter in general, right? No matter if it's a small pocket or a dense scene like, you know, the East Coast, West Coast, or even parts of Europe, man. Brazil, as Rob TV said, they were putting on a show, and they put on a show just recently for us as well, with, I believe it was Ronaldinho taking it again, like not just once. He done it last year, and he done it again using that Nash to qualify for the CPT finals. I mean, is there anything this man cannot do in his region, Rob?
I don't think so. And honestly, we need Capcom Cup. We saw him at Red Bull Kumite, but even though he qualified for a cup last year, as you brought up, Jammers, he didn't get to play in that cup because it ended up getting canceled and turned into the season final. The way that he plays with that Nash, honestly, to me, Nash is not like a top 5 character or even top 10 character right now, but he is solid. He is a solid character. But there's a difference between someone like that and even like a Karen or a Luke, or, you know, characters that have very high damage. His neutral game, his understanding of spacing, the fireball game, and his usage of that V-Trigger 2 all make him so potent and so strong. And I definitely think that he's someone who he's a trailblazer. He thinks for himself. Honestly, a lot of people would probably say that there's no reason to really go with Nash when Luke exists nowadays. But personally, I disagree. I think that you have to find someone who actually fits you as a player, and I think he's found exactly that when it comes to that Nash. And the character diversity is something that I love to see in CPT in general. We have a Nash officially qualified for Cup. You can't really say nothing about Street Fighter V's balance right now.
No, you definitely not. And funny that you brought up Luke, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I do peruse CFN a lot, and I do watch a lot of players. Ronaldinho might be sorting out a little bit of a loop, just in case things get a bit hectic at the finals.
Don't go to the dark side. Don't go to the dark side, Ronaldinho.
Listen, you say that, but look, he's playing a very awkward character in Nash. Again, not many people are going to have that experience or be up to date with a lot of the changes that happened. And again, like you said, with the V-Trigger 2, it's one of the better comeback V-Triggers in the game, right? People are going to be studying up on that stuff. And if he has to go down the dark path or get his hands really dirty and get things done, Luke is there, and I like the mindset he has. He's qualified, he's done the difficult part, but then just as tough of a job, or even tougher, comes, and he's gonna need to have as much firepower in his back pocket as much as he can, you know?
And outside of Ronaldinho, in second place, we did have Juninho looking ridiculous with that Luke as usual, and then we have to bring up Dark. Now, me and Brian talked about this on the last episode of No Neutral, even though there was a big law, but Dark is due for a win, in my opinion. And Brian said the same thing. We've been hearing about Dark for quite some time now. He's been one of the prime representatives from down there in that Brazil region, and his G is phenomenal. I do think a third place finish is strong, though, and I commend him, but I would like to see him get that official victory at some point, and maybe he'll get it when it comes to these World Warrior programs. We're gonna have to look at the results of that. But I would like to take a look at this top 8 overall as we show this up on the screen. We had Jaw Leche going up against Ronaldinho immediately. Now that right there was one of the most surprising results of the entire bracket. And I was not expecting him to bow out 0-3 going up against Ronaldinho. I thought that was a clash of the Titans, and clearly it just wasn't his day. Then outside of Ronaldinho versus Jaleche, we had Juninho and Dark. When they ran it back in that losers finals, you can see the adjustments that Juninho made, and that's the mark of a strong player.
I mean, that's just great to see, right? Because this is what we want. You can never judge or expect certain results to be one-sided or lopsided with these guys. And the thing is, look, part of the reason I know more about Juninho, more about Dark, is because of these CPT onlines. So that just gets you more invigorated, more hyped to watch them, right? Just in general, not just top 8, the top 16, just watch them as players, and them delivering for these top 8 and just being so close off the mark to qualify, which Ronaldinho did qualify. It can be upsetting for everyone, you know?
Yeah, oh, it definitely can be. And, you know, something that was a bit upsetting for me, I got to be honest with you, Jammers.
Talk to me.
I hate to admit it, but there is a Honda player that I actually give respect and love, credit, and admiration.
Let me clean up my area, okay? I didn't quite hear what you just said there. All right, cool.
Man, there may have been a gust of wind that came by, and that's why you couldn't hear it. My man's Gust down there in Brazil has one of the sickest Hondas in the world. Extremely entertaining to watch. And in this one, he wasn't able to crack that top 3 podium. Actually, he ended up tying for fifth place after losing to Juninho. But honestly, I think that goes to show you need a lot of characters when it comes to Street Fighter V right now. At least I would say you need like 2 characters, unless you play maybe a Poison, maybe a and even Adam has a Laura as well to go alongside Poison. So Gust, that's someone who I'm glad to see that he performed well there, but I would like to see him go even further. And then of course my man Dark as well. But overall, what I want to make sure that we do is shine as much light as possible on this region. My man Ronaldinho is back. He is better than ever, and he has officially punched his way into Capcom Cup. Jammers, as amazing as the CPT is, there's something else just as special going on right now, and that is none other than Street Fighter League. So what I want to talk to you about today is the best teams, the best Street Fighter League teams worldwide. You guys are bougie over there in Europe, so you're not even telling us which your teams are yet, keeping everything tight-lipped. So I suppose for now, we're going to be talking about just Street Fighter League United States and Street Fighter League Japan. Jammers, I'm gonna first make a guess though. I think one of the teams is F-Word Jammers Logan. Facts or cap?
I hate using the word, but I'm gonna use it this time. Cap. I hate using the word.
It's a victory that I got you to say that alone. It's a victory that I got you to say that alone, to be honest. I
use the word, but cap, definitely.
Okay, so you know, but you guys are tight-lipped right now. But United States has not been, Japan has not been. Of course, Japan is actually underway. We already seeing their matches live.
Yeah.
So I guess I will start with the American side of things.
Please.
I gotta say, to me, we're gonna talk to one of these players tomorrow, but I gotta say Team Endemic, man.
Okay.
Team Endemic, for those who don't know, they have Shine, the team captain of Endemic. They have Gamer B, long-standing, amazing player, and remember that legendary grand finals that my man's had with Momoshi. Come on, we were all raised on that pretty much. And then, finally, we have Knuckle Do Dang returning to Street Fighter League. We're gonna talk about that. Returning to Street Fighter League, returning to Street Fighter in general, and Adam, who I believe to be the best player in the world, but everybody believes to at least be in the conversation. Just recently runner-up at EVO and just smoking everything over here in the United States. That team is out of this world, and I don't really think that they have too much of a weakness. Only 3 people play at a time, by the way, Jammers. I don't know how you really stop them.
It's difficult because at least, hopefully, when the episodes start to air and we see it, there's going to be a healthy rotation because I can't imagine one of those players sitting out for more than a week or more than a match, because it's like, come on, that is top quality there. One of the best players in the world, Knuckle Dudang. You might class him as a dark horse in this regard because he might be a little bit rusty, but always remember, form is temporary, class is permanent.
Come on, Jammers.
Listen, he could be getting a surprise result or 2 for Team Endemic this year. So I think that was a very good choice. And it's just great to have him back.
I'm not even gonna see, to me, it wouldn't even be a surprise result just because, you know, I've lived with this guy and I always bring up this story. There was this time around the EVO Japan at the time, and he wanted to go over there with his wife. At that time, you know, his fiance, he wanted to go over there more so as like a vacation. Dude had not been playing Street Fighter for months. And I remember I used to be so annoyed because I'm grinding it out every single day, just hustling, sweating. And whenever he would just feel like playing some Street Fighter, he'd come over there and he'd kind of smoke me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, he used to piss me off. I got my wins here and there, but for the most part, he used to piss me off. And I'm like, man, how is this guy so good? And then he goes over to EVO Japan. I'm thinking it's just me though. Like, oh man, what am I doing wrong? He goes over to EVO Japan and beats a lot of the best players in the world, including Tokido, and makes top 8 on no practice. As you said, man, class is just permanent. Like, how long do you think Daigo would have to stop playing fighting games before he's not Daigo anymore, skill-wise? You know, can it really be, if Daigo stops playing Street Fighter V for a year, is the viewer at home comfortable saying, oh man, now I'll be able to take Daigo when he comes? No, it's not happening. There's a certain level. Yeah, there's certain levels you get to. And we can't just bring up Dude without also bringing up Adam, where right now he's the most informed player in the world outside of, I guess maybe you can say Kawano. Him, Kawano, are the most informed players. I personally would say Adam is number 1, but that's just splitting hairs at that point. So this team is actually insane. One of the most ridiculously constructed Street Fighter League teams to date.
Oh, it's interesting that you bring up most constructed teams. One of my picks, I've got several picks. This was very tough when you told me about this. One of the teams I got to pick is Team NASA, right? Team NASA.
NASA Bandits.
Listen, they're going to be doing work because here's the thing, right? For those of you who don't know, the team this season is comprised of Big Bird, Angry Bird, Mena, and Kaba. Let me tell you something. Rob, you probably know this off by heart. I had to look this one up. Any team that Big Bird and Angry Bird are on, it's a surefire way to the playoffs. Ask Problem X. Ask Samurai. Every time NASA have come there and Big Bird and Angry Bird are on form and they're playing, they're going to be making the playoffs. They might even win the season. So I've got those guys there. And this is it. Their philosophy and their work ethic, especially having Mena next to them now and Kaba next to them now, that is second to none. So I can see them doing a bit of damage this year as well in this season for Street Fighter League. Another pick I've got, just quickly, is UYU. It's a bit weird. I got UYU, but hear me out, because I know there's a little bit of controversy with the whole UYU thing, because they were the first team announced. The thing is, I think UYU, Rob, has got a strong balance of solidity and trickery, right? The solidity is in DCQ and NL. The trickery is with Xian and Oil King. Oil King can pick Rashid, V skill 2, and do aerial footsies. And Xian, well, if you don't know how Seth's V trigger 2 work, good luck. That's it. And if they need solid, and remember, there's a new format this year for Street Fighter League. If they need solid, guaranteed points, put on NL or DCQ every week. Guaranteed those points.
For those who don't know, there is a new format on Street Fighter League. So there's 4 players on each team, and only 3 play at a time. So, and it's a point system instead of just who wins the overall team battle. So you think that should even influence their decision making as to who they show up, who they throw up there?
I think it's a big deal. So, like, again, on the US side of things, those have got to be some of my picks. I got to give a special shout outs to Team Panda as well, because you know this is a team format. Communication goes a long way. And they're all friends on Team Panda.
Yeah, they literally have the most.
Who else you got there?
Kami.
Yep, Kami.
Kami and JB.
Yeah, listen, they're all friends. They'll talk. They'll practice, they'll do the business. And if you lack communication in team environment or team-based tournaments like this, you're kind of screwed. So don't count out Panda for a minute in this season, you know?
We got to move on from Street Fighter League US to make sure that we give some love to Street Fighter League Japan. These teams are ridiculous. I got 2 picks for my favorite Street Fighter League Japan teams. The first one is going to be FAV.
Okay.
With, of course, they won, if I'm not mistaken, they actually won last year too. This team actually took it all. And that is, of course, headed by none other than Tokido, arguably the GOAT of fighting games, let alone just Street Fighter. He is in the conversation. But you got Tokido, you got Sako, Bonchan, and then you have Torimeshi. If you say, hey, I need a team to go win this next match, and if they win it, I get $1 million, and that's the team that you get, you're gonna be pretty confident and pretty happy with yourself. You're damn near already counting the money.
Hold on, listen. This is interesting. I'll give you something interesting, right? So look, obviously the team's got 2 Evo champions. Tokido 2017, Bonchan 2019. Sako's won multiple premieres. He's just an amazing, talented player, right? However, Torimeshi, don't count him out because, again, Dalsim is arguably the best in the game and one of the best in the game. Having a Dalsim on your team in a team environment is a very big deal. And the thing is, they can put him on when they feel, you know what? You can get that experience, but also the other guy's got to deal with you. And he is one of the strongest Dalsim players. There's like 4 or 5 of them. I call him a Dalsim cult at this point. There's 4 or 5 of them that are like Ultimate Grandmaster, Warlord. They're grinding this game to a T. And I think he plays V-Trigger 2, so he's got a very unique style. That can be tricky for a lot of the Japanese community in SFL to deal with, you know? So I think that whole team has got a very exceptional balance to them, Rob.
Yeah, I 100% agree. For you, what's your first, I guess, Street Fighter League Japan team?
So I did that FAV gaming like you, but the other team I had to pick was Good 8 Squad. Gachikan, Kawano, Dogura. I'm trying to remember the last.
Do they have Pugera on there?
I think, yes, it was Pugera. And it's like, look, that team, they made it to the finals last year, right? Only losing to FAV Gaming. And like, their just team composition, the character diversity, I wouldn't even say it's a surprise factor, but it's how people, they can show up on the day and they'll give you the results you want. I can see them going to the players. Heck, I can actually see them making the finals this year again for Street Fighter League Japan. So Good 8 Squad is there. And I know there's like 8 teams in Street Fighter League Japan. We could talk about each and every one of them in absolute detail, Rob. But those 2 teams for me, FAV and Good 8 Squad, I think they're at the top for me.
I do want to make sure I give one more shout out before we get off this subject, to shout out Shinobism, of course, headed by none other than Momochi, one of the Japanese fighting game gods. But even outside of that, they have my man's Johnny, they have Yamaguchi and Fujimura. That team does not drop off at any point. It's going to be like pulling teeth to try to get team battles off of them. So I can't wait to see how they finish this season. But speaking of this season, there is a reason why we are here today, Jammers.
Hey,
because we have top 16 for CPT Nordic Baltic. And as far as this region overall, look, the first person everyone's going to be thinking about is the one that brought doom and gloom to my country in the 9v9 at Evo, and that is, of course,
up, but you did so.
Look, oh my God, man.
I didn't say anything.
Like, do I have to talk about this guy? Him and Luffy smoked us and trolled us and everything. Hate to see it, but of course, that is none other than Phenom. I mean, I feel like he's not. I don't know if the average viewer gives Phenom the level of credit that he deserves. Even though people know that he's got, like, you know, just my man finishing 3rd at Capcom Cup, he does it so naturally, so calmly, so he has to be the favorite when it comes to this tournament. But we also have Rikemansbarnet. Tell us a bit about him. I know you commentate a lot over there with him. I've commentated some of his matches as well.
So this is crazy, right? Because Rikemansbarnet, he is the best player from Sweden. He is one of the best players in the Nordic Baltic region, and he is Phenom's #1 problem. That is it. If you had to pick a player that would make it detrimental or difficult for Phenom to qualify in the cup, as we saw last season when me and Pi-Side, shouts to Pi-Side, were commentating the CPT online, it was Rikemansbarnet, because at the time, he didn't have a solid, confident counter for Rikemansbarnet. And he's put in a lot of work and improved over the past 2 years during the lockdown era to make sure it stays as sharp as ever. So, literally, Rob, this weekend, I'm gonna keep it a buck, as the Americans say. It's gonna be who's gonna listen. It's gonna be who's gonna win out of Phenom and Rikemansbarnet. That's it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this time Phenom actually has a counter, because if you remember the 2021 season finals, who did he pick? And Bison. He beat Rikeman like what, 5-1, 5-2 in that Bison. So Rikeman has to think about that if they encounter each other. Maybe in the winner's side, top 8. Maybe in the grand finals. It could be at an earlier stage. Who knows? It's going to be a juicy one this weekend, I got to say.
It is. And, you know, last year, for those who don't know, Rikemansbarnet actually did get first place. Notice I switched to Rikemansbarnet. I feel so bad. I've been saying Rikemansbarnet for over a year now, even commentate my man's matches. We talk and everything through Twitter before, and I just did not know that. Maybe you said it wrong, Jammers.
No, because I actually asked him, how do you pronounce his name? He says Rikemansbarnet.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was saying.
I said, I was ignorant like you. I said Reichman, because that's how I
damn! I was ignorant like you. I was ignorant like you. Was rude as hell. It's true. That's accurate, though. That's accurate.
And I sat down with him. I said, you know what? How do you pronounce your name? And he goes, Rikemansbarnet. If you really want to say it properly, and I said, right, I'm practicing this from now on.
Rikemansbarnet. Okay, yeah, that's sick. And you definitely killed your pronunciation. That was very nice right there. But Rikemansbarnet. Can I say Rikemans? Damn.
You can if you want.
Actually did. He actually did get first place in their CPT last year. And Phenom had tried a couple of different characters. And of course, at that time, he even was trying the Kieran, even though that is a matchup that I would definitely say is rough for Kieran, even before the nerfs. So right now, I do not expect to see that Kieran pop back out whatsoever. And as you said, we even seen Phenom pop out with the Bison pick in order to counter pick Rikemansbarnet. But I do not expect him to just be going into this saying, oh man, you know, Phenom got me. Phenom just, no, he's gonna have something new for him too. It could be to Phenom's detriment to some degree that he won the last one. Maybe he goes into it with that Bison again and just says, oh yeah, I got this guy figured out now. And maybe there's a whole new strategy that Rikemans comes with. But I do think this matchup continues the overall theme that we've seen over the last few years of CPT, where you have the young Titans, and then you have the old school, the OG, I would say, fighting game gods that we already know to be up there on that level. Lately, we've seen the rise of Kawano. We've seen the rise of players like Just a Kid, Chris CCH, even Rikemansbarnet, just players who maybe people weren't looking at that level that they really are at. Ending Walker over there in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And so this match right here, I think, is another important chapter. If it does go down to these two, it's another important chapter in that book of old school or just legends versus the new up-and-comers.
You know, I do have 2 special shout-outs. We got to say, keep an eye out for these players this weekend as well. Got to give love to my brother Veggie, one of my co-hosts on sets. He does put in a good performance. The only thing I'm going to say it to him on camera when he sees him before the top 16 goes live, you need another character. Stop holding yourself back. Birdie helps you. He is, do you know what, Rob? I think Veggie is an extremely talented player and he can beat a lot of players, but Birdie's holding him back because of a lot of matchups. But he will go far. I can see him getting maybe top 3, top 4. Another player you might be unfamiliar with, he's from Finland. I think he is Finland's best player at this point. No, his name's Valix. His name is Valix. You'll see his CFM when he comes out. His CFM will be a bit different, but he plays Luke. He's got a bit of a Chun-Li, and he dabbles with other characters as well, but he's become one of the most formidable opponents in the Nordic Baltic region. And he has beaten Phenom before. He's given a little bit upset in the Luke mirror. I'm not sure about his track record against Rikemansbarnet, but he could be in that top 3. He might even slip into the grand final. I know it's a bit of a stretch to some people, but he could cause an upset this weekend, Rob.
Jammers, you said that some people will say that it's a stretch, but to me, it's not a stretch whatsoever. We have already seen this theme continue to play out. If you want to try to get sponsored, try to get on Street Fighter League and things like that, the whole 9, head over to CapcomProTour.com today so you can start your own journey and sign up for your nearest Capcom Pro Tour event.
And it doesn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. It's not only CPT Online that are happening. There is the World Warrior program happening, and there's going to be tournaments happening monthly from July. That's been starting all the way throughout December. So head on over to Capcom Pro Tour, find out your respective region's World Warrior, and find out when the next one is. Get signing up and get competing.
I feel like the fighting game gods are sitting atop Mount Olympus comfortably. Of course, they are strong. They deserve all the credit that they get, but there's a lot of young and hungry titans climbing Mount Olympus and trying to knock them off of their thrones. Will that happen, or will the gods retain their crowns? There is only one way to find out, and that is for us to get into top 16 for CPT Nordic Baltic.
When you go looking for strength, it's not like a game. This journey doesn't have a real ending. Okay then, hope you're ready to begin. If you want to start off on the right foot in this city, hit the streets.
Yeah, hey there, I do this. Never feel loose. And when I get up in the game, y'all be improved. A real problem, but I solve them all face proof. And if you think I'm going forward, then you talking fool. Yeah, y'all wanna win, let me spin, boy. Or done society, I'm super fly like I'm hanging off the rim, boy. I've been winning for my kinfolk, and I put on for my city from the intro. Fight!
From the ground up, training getting wound up, channeling the inner self and moving up and down, crossing over, passing by, I'm pulling time the clock and keep score. Years I never thought it crossed before. When I get out on my knees, I got it begging and deep. I feel like I'm on the block, it really has got me. I stand up, actions always the win, no good vibes, if you just let it get. I'm out here scheming, right around and dreaming. Once I get the feeling, the top player is here.
Let me have some fun.
Ready? Then show me.
This will be a good fight.
If you wanna come and stand up to me, pull up on me now. If you wanna challenge to me, what you wanna call me now? I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back. I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back.
This is our destiny.
My secret art, Street Fighter VI. You won't know what hit you.
Let me have some fun.
Let's get this mission started. This will be a good fight. Got you in my sights. Neutralized. Predictable. Time to end this. Fire! just on another level.
The Nordics, the Baltics, we are here for your CPT. My name's Ultra David, and with me is Vicious. We're going to be taking you through the top 16 starting today. Top 8 will be tomorrow. Jeremy, what's going on?
A lot of things, first and foremost, right? We're looking at the players that we have that are pretty much entering into this top 16. Pretty familiar names from what we could expect from the World Warrior Series as well, thrown down by Salt Mine League. A lot of these cats have been pretty much putting down for their region since pretty much the dawn of time. For Shiver to 5 and the CPT, it doesn't really surprise me a lot that we're going to see those same kind of names.
I think that's exactly right. Yeah, we do have folks in there who have won CPTs in the past, who have made it into Capcom Cups in the past, who have taken big events, not just in this region, but in other parts of the world in the past as well. So lots of interesting players to look at. We have pretty good regional representation from around that area. We have a bunch of different characters on deck as well.
We sure do, yeah. From like one person and then like the rest of them, which we'll go into eventually.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, again, if you guys do not know, these guys are competing for a good amount of cash as well, not just for that spot into Capcom Cup, but $5,000 is going to be on the line all the way up until, I think first through fourth place? If I'm
yes,
not
indeed. The top 4.
That is a good amount of cash. Boom, that 5K prize pool. I'm glad we're all awake here. $5,000 is still pretty good for entering for free, playing at the comfort of your own home.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like with the current atmosphere, probably in that region, it's probably pretty cold. You don't want to go out anyway.
That may be approaching that point, yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as, again, who we're going to be taking a look at here, starting off at the top of the bracket, a name that everybody will recognize if you've at all been paying attention to Street Fighter for the last many years. That's Phenom up at the top. And this is the guy that you were talking about when you said every different character is going to be on the deck. We know at least that he told us that he's thinking about playing Luke, Karen, Nakali, and Dictator. Wouldn't be surprised if there were even more. His opponent's going to be Ixion. I'm really looking forward to that first match. Ixion, Nash, and Dan. Then we have Kung Martin from Sweden. We have Dr. Gulag from Finland. We're looking for a Ken and a Laura or Poison. Then we have Rikemansbarnet.
There we go. We're not saying it the wrong way.
Rikemansbarnet from Sweden. With Medar, of course. That is your last CPT champ from the region. Versus Yonzai from Helsinki, Finland. With Dictator, we have Torpon versus Kajus. Torpon actually had a tough path in getting here. He had to take down Veggie, who was, I think, one of the favorites to make it far in this event in order to get here. He did so playing Luke and Karen. Kajus from Lithuania with Jury.
And going into the loser side, we have M16 coming in from Norway, rocking that Chun-Li. Again, we were talking about big diversity here with Maiko as well, coming in from Finland, rocking that Birdie. There's, 2 Birdie representatives thus far? That's pretty cool. We have Ferry from Norway with Sakura, Hesscraft from Sweden with Ed, a very, very fun character to watch, by the way. Furbylon from Sweden, rocking Ryu and potentially Jury. Medar from Finland, rocking Dalsim. Veggie, our boy, coming in from Norway, rocking Birdie. That is his tried and true. And Sorgmantel from Sweden with Falk. This is, I'd have to say, hands down, the most diverse roster we've seen in the CPT.
It's great, being able to watch the CPT players from all around the world, even though it's just classically the case that different regions have different characters. It's always been like that in every fighting game. We nevertheless get to see a lot of diversity in the cast, pretty much week in and week out. But you're right that there's a lot of fun characters to look forward to in this top 16. We have some of the mainstays naturally. Luke is in there a couple of times, of course, right? Karen's in there a couple of times, of course. You got your competitive mainstays that appear in every top 16s, like Birdie, of course.
Sure. Oh, Dan especially.
Dan's a good character. Okay,
so
I will not hear any back talk of Dan in SF5.
I don't think Dan is a bad character.
He's a
but
good
you know what's
character.
Funny? Like,
I think he's affirmatively good.
Historically, he's been like the joke character.
Sure.
He's been at the struggle bus, but I feel like in 5 they really gave him a fighting chance.
I'm not even. I think he's
I'm not being
affirmatively
sarcastic either.
a good character. Not that he's not bad. I think he is a good character. So anyway, I'm not sure if Ixion's going to be playing Dan. He's a Nash and Dan player.
Yeah,
He's been rocking both of those across SF4 for Dan, and then Nash since SF5 came out as well. So he's got a lot of both. But that is our first match. It's going to be Phenom versus Ixion, starting right off the top of things.
His hair is always so cool.
It's so cool.
Like Ixion, he's been streaming. I feel like he's one of the original streamers of Street Fighter V and has been rocking Nash since like day one. And he has not stopped. There's not like, I feel like he's just been constantly streaming this entire time. And there's got to be respect on his name because he is like one of the forefathers of the Nash train.
Oh, yeah.
From the very beginning. Phenom, however, lives up to the name. This guy has been dominating the scene since he came into it, really. With that Nikali play, had dunked Daigo, a legendary play 5 times in a row, and has moved on to Luke. But to be honest, he's been a very flexible player. He's been flexing a lot of characters, even from the last CPT he ended up using. He did fall short to Rikemansbarnet, but he also exercised with the Karen, Nikali, and Bison, I feel like, in that matchup. But speaking of which, let's take a look at what Phenom had to say going into his top 16 performance, saying, I think this is maybe the 5th online tournament in a row I have Ixion in my path.
Wow.
That happens, I feel like, within top 16. If not top 16, probably top 8.
That's
right?
true. That's true. Yeah. And speaking of online tournaments, something that you referenced earlier was the World Warriors that are going on. And Phenom has taken both so far with first place. There have been 2 in the region. He has taken the first in both of them. So, really setting the stage for being probably the favorite for the event. I think that was true the last time as well. As you say, he didn't end up winning, right? So in that case, Rikemansbarnet ended up doing it. Certainly somebody else could do it this weekend as well, but I think he does come into this as being the favorite.
I agree. With that in mind, like, what if he happens to take it all the way this time, or could it be another repeat from Rikemansbarnet? We do have that kind of set up, right, in regards to like how the brackets formed. Rikeman is pretty much on the bottom half of the bracket, so we could potentially see that run back a lot sooner than a grand finals scenario.
That's
with that in mind, I hope to see that actually play out that way. But other players that have been showing up, Ixion obviously is a longtime player. Kung Martin, I want to see how that plays out. Torpon is one that's really intriguing me the most because it's not an easy feat taking down the big guy Veggie in any circumstance. So really curious about that. There's a lot of players that personally I haven't been able to explore, so I am kind of ignorant to it, I will admit that, but the character variety, again, is also something to just be excited about, let alone, the players that you might be familiar with at home.
Sure, that's, of course, one of the biggest benefits to having these online CPTs. We get to get a look at different regions and their players much more in depth than we otherwise would have been able to. That's absolutely been, to the extent that there has been a silver lining over the last few years in terms of the fighting game community and the worldwide impacts of things. That has actually been great, that we've been able to take a closer look at all these different regions and their players in their own locations rather than forcing them to travel all over the place, which really narrows down who can actually travel. Both of these folks have traveled in the past. Of course, Phenom, as we said, has done it a lot. He has been a big name at many events. It's going to be Luke from him, and it's going to be starting off for Ixion, the Nash. Now, since they've played against each other so many times, you're sure that they're going to go into this knowing each other well as we load into the Street Fighter duel stage.
And I love that starter from Ixion as well. Just using the Sonic Scythe to cover the Sandblaster. It wasn't necessarily a punish, but Phenom was actually moving forward. Ooh.
A little too close for the Soulbat there. So Ixion backs off. Of course, as a Nash player, his mobility is going to be a huge part of this. Oh, wow. Perfectly timed.
I couldn't even tell if that was preemptive or not. I genuinely couldn't. Your last minute. That's going to be great. Get himself out of the corner. Extend the combo as well into the reset.
Interesting.
Even blocking, he had to use the V-reversal. That was definitely plus.
This is a really good situation for Nash. Nash in the corner with 2 bars a meter is very strong.
But what happens if you're able to, V-reversal your way out 2 times over? You lose all that momentum. You are at the deficit. A ton of gray life because you ate both of them. And this is the big cash out. That could have been a lot worse, but it's still sign of life from Ixion. He still has a little bit left. A big confirm off of that.
Hoping it, yeah, okay. So V-Rev comes out. Phenom's safe. Oh, too close.
You're dead. That Sonic Scythe again. We talked about this earlier. A little bit too close, too sullen with the, I guess, with his options for movement. I was expecting Phenom to maybe like back down, but that hasn't been the case. I think Phenom has done a great job of kind of like bullying forward against Ixion.
Yeah, he was able to basically get the corner, and then he was put into the corner as a result, but he built the corner.
Yeah. And I love the chat.
Reactions. He has always had fantastic reactions.
above average, that is for sure. And again, the counter hit conversion, that was actually perfectly spaced towards the tail end of that roundhouse. Cross frames on that, he gets a chase. No, I don't know what he could have expected from Nash. I think he still could have applied immediately. Come on.
Here we go. Oh, boy. Almost good corner pressure again for Ixion, who's at risk if he activates of chip out.
And it's such a dangerous spot. Like Ixion, if he does any more damage to Phenom, he gets access to trigger. And it's still going to be a moment where it's like, you know, if he activates Thermal Barrack, I'm going to have such a hard time even like getting past Luke because he gets to set up an entire minefield of projectiles at any moment. Walking and blocking that thing is hard.
No doubt about it. Yeah. It's a hard thing to deal with. I was very impressed by how Phenom played not just on the offense, but on the defense. In that round, I think in particular, we saw great offense from him. But previously, when he was caught in the corner versus Nash, who, again, with 2 bars of meter, very good pressure. He has a bunch of different timings that he can throw at you, a bunch of different, very interesting, very strong frame traps. And Phenom dealt with it perfectly. So when he was put into that bad situation, he was still very strong.
Yeah.
Again, as he mentioned, they have played each other a bunch lately, so he's going to be very familiar with this.
I wonder if there's a way to, like, you would block the first one, and with the amount of delay that Ixion puts into the second one, if there's a way to, like, option select a maybe V-shift, potentially, and then, like, punish the recovery. Who knows? But either way, opting to go for the V-reversal is still a pretty valid strategy.
Sure.
I mean, it got Ixion to, 1, back off and spend meter, and then 2, have this Great Life to get even bigger damage off of like a normal that lands. And granted, yeah, Luke is going to be landing a normal sooner than later. So that's just extra damage waiting to be had. And that's the switch up to Dan. It's actually V-Skill 2, V-Trigger 1.
Yep, I really like the loadout. V-Skill 2 is such a fun tool, and this dude gets reverse beat in Street Fighter V with
cool,
V-Skill 2. I also think that he deals pretty decently with some of Luke's buttons. I think that his neutral game in this matchup is okay.
Yeah.
Of course, what you really want to be doing as Dan is pressuring, and right now it's the opposite of that. Phenom's got control.
Yeah. I would say it's the poor man's reverse beat because it's you're pretty much canceling. You have to like time that.
I mean, it's not literally reverse beat.
Yeah. I hear you. Look at the damage. Sandblaster, uppercut, not quite dead yet. A short will do it though. Crouching short, crouching jab even. Any short, any jab. That was all she wrote.
Caught in the corner immediately and then never got out.
Big perfect. But that was a very Luke round. That's pretty much all you can really say about it. I think there was just a lot of control in regards to like what Luke can do against Dan. I haven't seen a single normal.
No, he's
from
been
the side
very
of Ixion.
You know when he pressed the button was when Phenom happened to be halfway through his jump. Just unfortunately for Ixion, Phenom had the exact read on when to get the forward movement. V-Trigger 1 is there. Now you can bring that out and gain plus frames. We'll see if he goes for that.
If you can get within range. Look at the amount of normals just Phenom is swinging, and Ixion cannot find the mark. It's going to be over pretty soon. Yeah, Phenom, I think the only damage he actually took was off of chip.
I think you may be right. I think that was the Dan kick or something else.
That is a certified hood perfect, is what we call those.
Well, look, as we mentioned, I think he is the favorite coming into this thing, and he just showed us why. That's the only time that we're going to see him today. We're here in this top 16. On the winner's side, if you get the dub, then you just move into the top 8. All you need is 2 out of 3 to do that. And Phenom got it about as fast as you could.
Yeah. It was, man, it was quite intimidating to see Phenom just pretty much swinging from the hips. As soon as the Dan pick happened, I don't think there was any moment where he was fretting that matchup.
Yeah.
Ixion, on the other hand, I wish I could have seen a little bit, anything more really, because we didn't see anything from the first game, or the first round, I should say. Like, not a single normal. Did you see a normal? I genuinely did not see a normal. I'm not even trying to like.
I don't remember in the first round. I remember seeing a couple in the second round, and they got whiff punished. I don't think that we saw V-Skill 2 cancel because he wasn't in range for that.
Yeah, it was tough. We saw a fireball. It was just too short. Look, it was a Dan fireball.
Phenom whiff punished some of the few buttons that did come out. I mean, it's very hard to play in the neutral game, regardless of matchup, against somebody like Phenom with the reactions that he has to be able to, on reaction, whiff punish, to be able to hit confirm every time.
On CFN.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. There's no doubt about that. So Phenom, again, qualifies for the top 8. We'll see him tomorrow. And we're going to be moving on to our next match in this top 16.
This one you were actually looking forward to as well before we went live. The Kung Martin versus Dr. Gulag. Sweden versus Finland. Kung Martin rocking that Ken. Dr. Gulag, very familiar name. also with Laura, currently placed 4th in regards to like the standings for World Warrior over in the Salt Mine Leagues, excuse me.
Let me tell you why I'm excited for this. Dr. Gulag, first of all, you see the age? 39? That's how old I am.
Yes,
Can you believe it? He also started with Super Turbo. That's what I did. Can you believe it? These days, he's a working lawyer, but still playing Street Fighter V. That's what I do. Well, maybe not the second half of that. Maybe not. But
No, you still play.
the first half of it, yes, I definitely do. So I'm going to try to stay impartial, but we'll see if that works out.
We do have the quote before he gushes over Dr. Gulag a little bit more. Let's see what they have to say going into it.
I'm always scared of playing against Ken, but I need to be the predator instead of the prey. Well, you know, you got a character in Laura who's pretty good at making that happen. But I understand. Ken is an unpredictable character. There's different ways to play that guy, and it's hard to know what the opponent's going to do. Even if you know somebody's playstyle, they can definitely switch it up. Are you going to be the zany kind of Ken? Are we going to be seeing lots of Dragon Punches? Are we going to be seeing lots of bizarre movement? Are we going to see Roundhouse Tatsu from half screen? Or are we going to see the most patient, fundamental, whiff punishing, and hit confirming playstyle? Because you can do both of those with Ken, and it's anywhere in between as well.
There's such a wide range of how you can play Ken, and it is really scary. It truly is pretty scary, especially in this matchup. I think he has a good amount of tools to stop some of the things that allow Laura to initiate offense. One of the more noticeable things, or notable things I should say, is in fact the Thunderclap. I think he does a great job of preventing any sort of action from coming out afterwards. Even if he can't contest it, he can still backdash. His backdash is pretty good.
Sure.
His normals are pretty good in general. So I think there's a lot that he can do against Laura, which is pretty interesting to say. I feel like a lot of the Ken players are starting to come out of the woodwork because of the changes he received over time. It's going to be pretty interesting. Not even just like normals. He could literally HP. He could do Fierce DP through a Thunderclap.
Sure.
It's like, this is pretty fun. This is actually a lot more fun than it used to be.
He's definitely a good character. Is that the match that we're going to see? Yes, Ken versus Laura. We ask everybody for facts about themselves. That's how come I was able to give you the little backstory on Dr. Gulag. As far as Kong Martin, Street Fighter III was my first serious introduction to competitive fighting games.
Like me!
That's what you did!
That's what I did!
Can you believe it?
What are the odds?
What are the odds? Thoughts on top 16 matchup from Kong Martin?
Yeet! That's what it was.
That's the entirety
I almost
of it.
forgot already. Those are his thoughts, man.
That's his thoughts.
Like me for top 16. It's amazing. It's amazing how relatable we all can be on a world basis. From,
the missed confirm. We did see it previously into the DP. Oh.
Ooh. Good throw bait into the punish. Good amount of damage as well. And kind of patient on the wake up. Oos.
Perfect timing. Oh, and it steals the turn. It's huge.
That was airborne, though.
You're right.
Oh, it didn't even matter. The response from Dr. Gulag. Paging Dr. Gulag. This guy was in. All the way in.
Yeah, that roundhouse really turned things around. He was in the corner and then found exactly the right moment to button down.
He's ready. Did you see that? He's absolutely ready. One of the things that I do like about certain players is how they react to stand medium punch. If you're able to react to that, whether a hit or miss, it's like, I know you were definitely like that guy. You are that guy.
Is he that guy to already move on to the next
100%.
game?
He's
already over?
that guy. 1,000%.
Wow, look at all
Top
that red
of
up there.
his class.
The working lawyer manages to make it through. See, kids, you can still do it. Up here at the 39th year.
This is you if you cared about competing,
player.
by the way. This is actually you if you cared about competing.
You know, maybe a couple of physical issues here and there aside.
That's
as well.
true. You know, I mean, like he might be on the same hitbox that you're on.
Can you believe it? Oh,
that'd be cool. My apologies. I forgot.
No, it's all good. Come on.
Oh, I wasn't ready for that one. Took it to the back throw. Ooh,
that was sick.
That was a cool whiff punish.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a delayed buffer. Like maybe he just like.
I'm gonna give it props anyway.
Okay. You know, just throwing it out there. On a reset.
Here it is. 3-framer. Oh no, missed the DP.
How about that one?
Oh yes.
Now
He's
ready
got
for
that
the run.
big red bar. Yeah, we haven't seen finally activation comes. What patience by Dr. Gulag. And then Roundhouse really seems like his button of choice right there. We've seen that defensively a couple of times.
Oh, the reset! And that was actually pretty smart of Kong to actually read that ahead of time.
I love the jump, but that only comboed into sweep. Surely there was more on the table.
1,000%. It is what it is. Gulag. He's going to be fighting out of the Gulag. Another chance at life. Different game. But same story. Looking at match point.
Yeah, he's just challenged super well. His roundhouses have been on point. It's not been a big go-to for him, but the times he's pressed it have been exactly what he needed.
Ooh. Time of reversal. The standby kick buffer. EX uppercut. We were looking for the wild Ken activity. We found it. Oh. Not quite stunned.
Kung Martin lives. Oh, he lives. Oh, he
That's
lives.
huge.
Oh, the reset as well. Cheeky stuff. He is one hit away and a couple of grabs away from doing
frames.
this.
Oh, he could have confirmed.
Oh, buddy.
He actually could have had a full stun sequence. Oh, that was
missed it.
that had to be EX Tatsu. 1,000% had to be EX Tatsu on the way down. Ooh.
Surely you're right. Oh, that is very unfortunate for Kung Martin. I do think you could see that in a couple of instances there, and that was definitely one of them. Just not exactly what he was looking for. He missed the Wake Up Tatsu into Dragon Punch. He missed another combo opportunity. He got sweep rather than other buttons. That's not a case of, you know, your physical execution error. That's maybe, you know, you're on the CPT stream and you're a little bit hurried and you're a little nervous.
Yeah, I would say that.
And you don't quite get what you want, but I could definitely tell that there's a lot of strength in there that unfortunately we didn't get to see enough of in this match. Hopefully in loser's side for him, he can move forward.
And as it stands right now, I mean, Dr. Gulag is going to take the best of it 2-0 over Kung Martin. And this, I feel like, you know, going into it, just for those that have been following along with this scene, just based off of stats from the World Warrior Series, Dr. Gulag being currently in 4th place, you would expect him to move on, right? Kung Martin, I haven't seen any sort of data in the past in regards to CPT performances or even like FG combo. But again, still has a chance. Made it all the way into top 16 winner side, so very impactful. Rikemansbarnet coming up next against Yonzai. Sweden versus Finland again, by the way.
Look, he won last time. Rikemansbarnet
Sure
comes
did.
in as the reigning CPT champion for the Nordic and Baltic region, and in doing so had to make it over Phenom. So he played fantastically, and that's not the only time that we've seen him perform well. We've seen it in other instances as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this guy comes in here as one to watch for sure. He is currently 5th when it comes to World Warrior points. Done pretty well for himself. They've again had 2. They've only had 2 tournaments. He actually missed the first one. He couldn't enter.
I see.
And so his entry in the second one, he got 2nd place
Okay.
to Phenom.
Oh, I got to watch that back. I really got to watch that back because I've been thinking about it the whole time. It's like, you know, what does it look like between those two right now? Which is going to be a storyline probably down the line for top 8. But as it stands right now, Yonzai is in the way with that Bison pick. And I'm very curious to see what this Bison is all about in regards to like how he got here in terms of like how he performs in general. Because I haven't seen that name. I personally haven't seen that name.
Yeah, we always tried to do a bit of research. Couldn't find big results, but hopefully that's something that we'll see coming up here. As far as the stuff that they had to say, Rikemansbarnet's fact is that he's really looking forward to Street Fighter 6. You know?
Yeah, I think
It looks pretty
that's-
cool. Do you know anything about that game? Heard about that game?
I might.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Very much looking forward to it as well. He also says, though, that Minot versus Bison is hard. So just right out there at the beginning. But the second half of that statement is,
I don't believe
but I know the matchup.
As you should, yeah. I mean, Bison's been around for quite some time, getting some notable changes. Actually, I would say, like, a little bit easier to jump in on, but I don't think that's, like, the main thing that you should be focusing on. But either way, yeah, I think at this stage of the game, I do not doubt Rikeman's power. I mean, very much so a dominant player, but Yonzai, again, it's just piquing my interest. I do love seeing how Bison players play, and it's a lot different nowadays. Like, the way that they kind of move around the screen or how they want to advance forward or which normals they want to utilize, especially with V-Shift being a thing, you can't throw out Psycho Acts as freely as you used to. So they got to be a little bit more creative now.
Yonzai's quote is tough opponent and not so easy matchup, as everyone, parentheses, Minot players, might think. So shout out to him for that quote as well.
The double option select, you love to see it.
Yeah. Well, great reaction right there.
Oh, what that was a sick pickup.
Yeah.
I have not seen this costume ever, David. It's a really cool looking costume.
I agree. Yeah.
I really like the ball. Ooh, what an interruption too.
Trigger 2's already ready.
Can we talk about Rikeman's name for a second as well?
Oh, we'll see.
That'd be pretty cool. But going into it right now, again, Yonzai. Oh, he just slid. I feel like
That's so far.
that would have maybe punished the recall in the orb. Or sorry, the orb explosion, maybe? It's tough to call.
Rikemansbarnet has so much control Pressuring. He's got the 3-framer there. Yes, there it is. He tries facing overhead. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's huge. No!
Oh,
Didn't get to
Yonzai, that was the
convert
big
combo.
chance.
That was the huge chance. You caught Rikeman choosing movement as an option for defense. You got to stick him to the ground and potentially hit for so much damage. And you have meter behind it as well. That's tough. That's tough.
He's got to shake it off. It's already 40% down in this round.
Oh man, still in time to get the anti-air. Rikeman has all the spacing down pat. Look at this. Here comes a recall. Yonzai definitely ready for it.
Here we go. Plus frames. Finally has the corner. Plus frames.
Chipping away. A lot of gray life on that one, so that scissor kick made it hurt pretty much extra. Trigger is on deck. Watch out for the implant.
Plus frames. Plus frames. Plus
Again.
frames.
That was the one.
Come on. Come on.
Out of all the times you could have V-shifted, how did you know?
How did you know?
You were actually. Oh my
come
God.
on.
This guy can play.
Medar versus Bison is hard, but I know the matchup. There he goes, showing you that he was not lying.
There's one thing to say about V-shifting the Psycho Crusher. I get that. That's reactions. But there's another to completely avoid the command grab.
Yes.
Off of a read? You can't react to that. No chance.
He read that. That said, I think he read command grab in the previous round too, and that's when Yonzai had the chance to get big damage and did not.
And he's thinking to himself, you know, backdash wasn't the play last time. Maybe I should probably, just in case a strike hits, I cover both options with the V-shift, so that's a lot. Yeah, that makes sense. You hedge your bets a lot better that way. Good technical there, David.
I've sleuthed it out.
Nice work.
Trigger 2 already ready.
Oof.
Quick rise. Oh, he's
Oh, that was definitely a drill. That had to be a drill. And I love the way that Yonzai's kind of been like weaving in and out of danger against the orb as well. It's super smart to do. Like that's something you really have to pay attention to in this matchup. And man, being able to dash up like that and hit at the same time as the orb still leaves you at plus frames. Like significant plus frames at that.
Here we go. Again, it's frame advantage for Yonzai. And Rikemansbarnet just blocks it out. Goes back to neutral. Again. Oh, come on!
You're kidding me, dude. Rikemans is a different kind of human. Like legit a different kind of human. That is something else.
He's buffering it in. It's not like that was a confirm, but to choose to buffer at that specific spot after having blocked like that is not a very common choice, and Yonzai was just not at all looking for it.
Yeah, it wasn't about the buffer at all. It was just like the decision-making behind it.
Yeah,
when to do it, for sure, without a doubt. Phenomenal decision-making all around.
This is the round that Yonzai has been looking for so far. Look at all that chip and gray up there.
Do you agree with like backing down against the Medar? I mean, like,
well, he's
as the orb
at
coming
least.
in?
However, the 3-framer, oof, again, right where he wants to be, comfortable position. He can stab back in just like this.
Oh, this is so fun now.
However, we haven't seen this one yet.
There we go. It's interesting to see what the defense is like for a lot of players, but I'll tell you what, Rikemans is breaking it down. Watch out now.
He's got one left. Still there. Yonzai has his trigger ready to pop. There it is. He's got Psycho. Can cover that gap real fast.
And Rikeman's not going to overextend, though. Being at the life deficit.
There it is. Finally gone.
One critical art would be a good amount of damage, too. I don't think it would kill Bison.
Try to get a whiff punish. It wasn't quite there. Now he has EX. Maybe that whiff punish is more of a possible. Oh, I think that was the roundhouse.
It's so tough. You can't even like walk and block your way through, can you? Is he aiming for a time over? Does he have enough trigger to even like hold on to it?
Not clear to me who has the life lead, especially after this connects. If it connects, it does. Okay, so Yonzai now has the life lead by but a pixel. Maybe not anymore. Plus frames here.
Oh, he jumped away. He could have had it. Oh my God.
He's got a skedaddle. Okay.
Woo. That was cool. This is so much cooler than I thought. Man, the way that Rikemans has been playing and Yonzai with the rebuttals, obviously there's a lot of like, these guys have played before.
Oh, sure,
like,
sure.
More than this occasion. On a very frequent basis, I'd imagine.
The catch was there for Rikemans, and Yonzai, look, in that last round, a lot of it was what he wanted. A lot of how he wanted the match to go. So he's now shown that that's something he's capable of. He's patient here. Could be EX, and it is.
Caught the counter hit as well. Didn't have the charge enough to pursue after the crouching medium punch, I guess. No overhead here.
Yeah, great evasion by Yonzai. And blocking anything, he's going to get trigger at this point. There it is. And so he can get the party started. Rikemansbarnet trying to be outside of sweep range. He was not successfully so.
Oh, that's a lot of extra damage. And push into the corner. The stomp. Coming in from Yonzai, pretty much stomping out the orb activation. Oh boy, that's still gonna hit meaty!
Okay, that was sick!
We have reset potential too. That's reset number 1 for the corner exchange. And now we get to throw the ball, yes sir, to initiate our offense 2 times over. No, finds himself in the corner. Rikemansbarnet is in trouble. Plus frames again, chipping away.
Yonzai.
Look at the amount of chip. Yonzai gets to play the timer scam again.
However, in doing so, he did give super to Rikemansbarnet, who now has the way to get the life lead or maybe the W. Yonzai finds the hit.
Smart.
Will he pressure? No, not at all. He likes to just stay away. Yonzai will find a
so
game.
You thought.
Yeah, or so I thought.
Or so you
Or
thought.
so Rikemansbarnet maybe also thought. So shout out to Yonzai for really mixing it up in the end.
I can't say it that way. We both thought that. I definitely thought he was going to run away with it. But the scissor kick was a smart choice. That's something you wouldn't expect in regards to like how he played it off in the last round. He got the time over W. He was playing patiently. But throwing out that scissor kick every so often to check the movement, super smart. On the ropes. Yonzai is tying it all up against Rikemansbarnet. Initially, we had thought it would have been like a wash just because of the way that Rikemansbarnet was making the proper reads and reactions against Yonzai.
Yeah,
But
first game and a half even.
yeah, that is true. We got ourselves a real set between these two, Yonzai and Rikemansbarnet. And I will say, man, now he's getting caught off guard with a lot of these recalls. Watch out now.
He's being very active defensively. Even there in the tech, he's being active. Hold on.
Word. Oh my god, you're reaching for what now? You actually might be dead.
Surely. 10 seconds before that, it looked like Yonzai was in trouble. Rikemansbarnet was pressuring. Yonzai was buttonsing out too often defensively, and all of a sudden it was all turned around. Match point, Yonzai.
Yeah, Rikemansbarnet was actually reaching for a lot. There was a couple of hits, a couple of counter hits, and also trying to walk back out to safety. But there was a couple of times where Yonzai made the right call. He did a frame trap. He called out the movement with a medium kick, and gone back to meaties.
No reaction this time. Rikemansbarnet had checked that dash before. Now, maybe feeling it a little much.
With that pressure, Yonzai is looking very clean, but he can't overextend, right? He does have the lead. In regards to the match, and the meter, and the life. Not anymore in the meter regard, though.
No, he's still looking great, though. Look at this. That has done exactly right. So much so far. Now, trigger activation is a possibility. As soon as blocking, that was Rikemansbarnet's turn.
The block on the setup, that was actually mad ambiguous. I couldn't even tell. But Yonzai now reaching. Critical art on deck. Is he going to spend it? You're still living.
Big time.
That's
However,
tough.
a grab's going to do it. Okay, if counter hit. But he's okay. Yonzai has activation.
Are you going to do it wrong? Oh, now you're close to the orb. Oh, he anticipated that from like at least a second and a half away. That jump back was really unfortunate. Yonzai just pretty much put himself into it. Into that range.
So now match point for both. It's a good jump to start things off. Yes. No, the miss
he
on the
dropped.
combo though. However, Rikemansbarnet without the orb in big trouble here. Big trouble even still. Stun is becoming an issue.
Are you going to recall? Plus frames afterwards?
Hasn't
You don't
even
even
had
have
a
time to
chance.
recall.
He
And
hasn't
the
had
orb
a
behind him,
chance.
you're actually going to be stunned. Can you build enough bar to actually get a W?
Enough to
not
get
quite.
enough
Throw.
Oki for throw. Yes. Rikemansbarnet in big trouble.
Don't tell me it's a perfect, David. Okay, we'll take that.
He's got so much work to do, and even if he gets everything right now, I don't think he's going to get the kill. But
The mix! That's 2 mixes in a row. V reversal, excellent shot.
that V right there might have sealed the deal. It maybe have sealed the deal. Yonzai is going to send Rikemansbarnet down to loser's side. Fantastic play by Yonzai, considering especially how that started out. Game number 1 was so strongly in favor of Rikemansbarnet. Even the first round of game number 2 strongly in his favor. Even the beginning of the next round, as he had the life lead and he was pressuring and Yonzai was getting hit by a bunch of stuff, and suddenly it all changed.
All went downhill. super impressive either way. As you look at the replay, Rikemansbarnet had a very fantastic show. And just to kind of bring the specifics to light as to what David was talking about, Rikemans had a ridiculous showing. And I'm not going to lie, in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, this guy's got it. Like, this is going to be...
I mean, he's one of the favorites.
Oh, absolutely.
Big far, right? We talked about he won it last time. He got second place in the World Warrior for this region. So he is one of the favorites coming into this event. And nevertheless, he's sent down to the loser's side.
Just the way that he was playing it, very much so solidified it for me. I was thinking about game one, and I'm not going to lie, I was looking at Yonzai, I'm like, there wasn't a lot coming from him. It looked like there's a lot of timidity in regards to what he wanted to do for offense, defense, etc. And I was like, okay, I think this is going to be a wash. But Yonzai proving me completely wrong, flipping the script upside down in a very convincing fashion, which is crazy to say. Like, you are taking down the person that had qualified for Capcom Cup pretty convincingly.
Fact about Yonzai that he gave us? I like woolen socks. I'm with you.
What kind of socks?
Woolen socks.
Oh, nice.
What do you think? What do you think?
They feel great.
I love them.
Yeah.
Good work.
I'm not against it. I feel like you were expecting a different answer from me, the way you were looking at me.
No, I just was curious your perspective, but
okay,
I'm into it as well.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
We're on the same page, everybody. That's a look at our bracket right now. Torpon versus Kajus. Not going to be running that quite yet. We'll get there soon.
Yeah, speaking of soon, there's one game that I do like to emphasize coming in very, very, very soon. You can see on the top right, you see that little emblem, the little logo on the top right of your screen. That is indeed the Street Fighter Duel game coming out real soon. The Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel is now available for download in China with a global version coming soon. Fight along with Ryu, Chun-Li, and Ken against the Suzaku Castle. The entire castle at that. Further into the Shadowloo City, explore the mysterious organization, experience the classic stories with all of your fighters, and recall your memories of the original Street Fighter. Your Street Legend is now back on track with various fighting styles and counter, stun, combo, and super. The impressive array of fighting elements and the associate combos offer you a new battle experience, challenging your combat skill. The Epic Legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now, and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter, which is exactly what we're doing, getting from our top 16 into our top 8. We still have plenty more to go in the top 16 from down below as well. And a lot of the things we do like to talk about in regards to the players and how they've been performing up until the CPT, we like to mention the World Warrior project a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a super cool thing that we're running this year. You can visit CapcomProTour.com for the details, but you can also just look on the right there and see how many partners are involved running events in their local regions all over the world. We have 26 different places playing with this, which is very cool. Love to see the regionality of this. Something that we talked even on the top of the broadcast was how we've been able to watch so many different regions throughout the last couple of years in their own locations, in their own territories, which I really appreciate. So these events happen monthly. We've been talking about the one that happened here in the Nordic and Baltic region just a couple of days ago, but they are happening all the time. So please check them out at CapcomProTour.com for more information and how to register.
I think the next one coming in for the Baltic Nordic region will be, I believe, October 21st, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, again, you can just check it out at CapcomProTour.com, hit that schedule button, and it shows pretty much every single region. It is indeed October 21st. I got it right. Dang, cool.
So, yes, indeed.
So that's how it's going to be. Salt Mine League, throwing it down every single time. Looking forward to seeing the next one. Same with all of these events for every region. But as it stands right now, we're still going through the CPT, the Capcom Pro Tour. We have our first 3 candidates going into top 8. We'll see who makes it on the way over from the rest of winners and on to losers. So we'll see you after this break.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned to defeat. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
When you go looking for strength, it's not like a game. This journey doesn't have a real ending. Okay then, hope you're ready to begin. If you want to start off on the right foot in this city, hit the streets.
Yeah, hey, dare I do this, never feel loose. And when I get up in the game, you're up here improved. A real problem, but I solve them all face proof. And if you think I'm going forward, then you talking fool. Yeah, y'all wanna win, let me spin, boy. All dunks aside, I'm super fly like I'm hanging off the rim, boy. I've been winning for my kinfolk, and I put on for my city from the intro. Fight!
It started from the ground up, training getting wound up, channeling the inner self and moving up and down, crossing over, passing down, on the time the clock and keep score. Years I never thought it crossed before. When I get tired on my knees, I got it digging it deep. I feel like I'm on the road. It really has got me. Actions I with the wind, no good vibes. If you just let it get. I'm out here scheming, riding around and dreaming. Once I get the feeling,
The top player is here.
Let me have some fun.
Ready? Then show me.
This will be a good fight.
if you wanna come and stand up to me, pull up on me now. If you wanna challenge to me, what you wanna call me now? I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back. I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back.
This is our destiny. My secret arts. Street Fighter 6.
If I go too far, please forgive me.
My name is Seth. Bow down before my sight.
It's time for trap.
Show me everything. Download.
This will do.
See what I'm really made of. I'll settle this. It's the end. Let's go. The finale. You can't escape.
Back like we never left. We've gone down to our 3 matches thus far in the winners top 16. We're going to get our 4th one underway. Then shortly after, we got to go through the loser side. I'm Vicious here with Ultra, David. And I got to say, thus far, we've had some pretty good results. I'm going to say like one of them was something that we'd expect, Phenom being one of the favorites. Then out of nowhere, Rikemansbarnet falling short by 1 game in a very convincing manner to Yonzai. That was actually pretty cool. Even in between Dr. Gulag being able to showcase his stuff in regards to the Ken versus Laura matchup. That could have been unpredictable, but either way, turned out in Gulag's favor.
There you go. Up next in this winner's side, the last winner's side one of today, we're going to have Torpon versus Kajus. Now, you just talked about how Rikemansbarnet was set down to loser's side, even though he was one of the favorites. Well, you know who else was in a similar boat? Was Veggie. There was Veggie.
Oh, boy.
Playing the old Street Fighter V in the old CPT. Thinking he's going to make the top 8 in winner's side. Torpon. was in his way.
Who was Torpon using? Oh, I see. I see. There's a couple of characters there that could give you know, a lot of people trouble. One of them being Luke.
Our intel is that it's Luke or Karen, but he's got the Luke up there for you. As you can see, Torpon here from Sweden, as we said, took out Veggie, which is a very strong action to do. Kajus on the other side from Lithuania. Jury is the character to expect. In fact, his fact about himself is Jury grind is the real deal.
I agree. I think there's a lot to be said about people that have picked up this character for the last couple of years to get pretty heavily rewarded towards the end of Street Fighter.
If you've been playing Jury since she came out, and she's just been getting better and better and better, and as, of course, if you keep playing, you're going to get better and better and better. Like, that's such a scary combination for everybody else. I think she's so strong right now.
Let's take a look at the quotes going into it between Torpon and Kajus. As we get Kajus, I will try my best, one win at a time. And as you should, really. I don't really get to see a lot of these players that get to shine in a top 16 kind of stage, but I'm glad that they do. When they do come into play, it's always going to be like a fun time just watching a lot of these newcomers. Not necessarily like, you know what I mean, like newcomers, but like getting their spotlight.
Absolutely right. People who, on the other side of the world, where we are, we're getting a chance to take a look for one of the first times, which is super cool. Torpon, you know, we've talked about how Dr. Gulag said he started with Super Turbo. We talked about how Kung Martin said Street Fighter 3 was my first serious introduction to competitive fighting. Well, for Torpon,
he's a 4-man.
Not only that, Street Fighter 4 on 3DS.
Oh boy,
was my first fighting game.
I gotta go. Listen. I was actually talking to David about this. I had seen at my local card shop somebody playing that game. They were playing on like the touchpad and also the buttons at the same time. They played Guile and T-Hawk, so they were doing some crazy walking combos.
Let's go.
With Guile, they would walk up, use the stylus, force Sonic Boom, and then press the buttons with their ring finger. And I'm like, this guy's a genius. This guy is actually a professional.
Well, Torpon's got a character now who can walk around and still throw projectiles, so maybe that's part of the conversation here. Luke, very strong. He also says, by the way, his quote about himself is, I feel confident, and after having taken down Veggie, I understand why.
Ooh. Pretty big. Oh, man, the Jury costume, the original, got me excited for 6.
Yep, the catch, but nothing else. However, Torpon still has corner.
I think after that, you could have gone for maybe like a standing medium. Alpha crouching.
Delayed DP, a little bit too delayed.
I don't know about all that. Oof. That stuff a what now?
Yeah, just happened to get to just the opposite side. Oh, here we go. Just pressuring. She's got scary pressure even without anything activated yet.
And no storage yet either, yeah.
Yeah, nothing there. But if you can combo into the pinwheel, be right up close afterwards, she's still scary. Looking for button, trigger one activated. Here we go, Torpon!
That was a cool sequence to get into trigger.
Oh. Yes, patience there.
You are -2 after that fireball, though, from up close.
Beautiful.
The walk up and the patience from Torpon. I gotta say, though, there was a lot of handshaking in regards to that match. Like a couple of normals whiffing, kind of testing the spacing a lot of the times. No big risks involved, right?
Oh, here we go. Torpon was there in time. And just like that, 8 seconds in, we're into the corner. Oh, okay. Kajus out again. These jumps have actually been perfectly positioned.
Super sharp. You have a potential activation on the side of Torpon. Not quite yet for Kajus. There it is. Now charging the kicks. Actually finally got that, but still not in the safest position to do so. That EX Sandblaster travels a mile a minute.
Torpon's defense has been there as well. Patience yet again. And that trigger one is basically gone for Jury, so great job by Torpon to weather the storm.
Now, you thought you could do what now? Thermobaric still behind the medium kick. People get caught by that a lot. There's the crosscut he was looking for. Oh, that's just awkward. Like you go for a tech throw because you clearly see the opponent going for a throw as well, but you just don't recover in time and get punished instead. That's a bad feeling.
Watching Torpon play, I understand why he said that he feels confident. He just has a very solid style. We didn't see risks taken. We didn't see him over press on anything. He waited for his turn almost every time, and he was just consistently strong on the ground. A
very stable way
Very stable,
of playing
absolutely.
Luke. That's for sure. checking all the right things against Kajus in regards to what he wants to do out of the corner. But the fact that he's pushing Kajus into the corner so quickly, that is the third time, I believe, that he is not able to get that cross.
Shout out to Kajus in his jumps.
Yeah.
They have been well placed.
Just backing away. That was so smart from Torpon. Just back dashing, but still catches the target combo. Checking the movement as well with a low medium kick after the low medium punch. And still, Kajus. Oh, he did get an opener, but he didn't want to spend the trigger for the rest of it. I totally understand that.
Well, now Kajus again finds himself more towards the corner. Again, with that resources, the jump was not well placed. Right. I love the V-Rev here.
And that's just unfortunate. From that far, she's not really going to be able to use that V reversal in the way that you intended to. But getting whiff punish for it, that feels even worse.
Yeah, that's tough.
Ugh, the uppercut. I feel like those are jab uppercuts. I really do feel like it, David. Am I crazy? I'm probably crazy. Someone check the CFN. The extend blaster.
Some of the first dashes that we've seen from Torpon in that kind of situation. Yeah, throwing fireballs more too. Right now he's playing a little differently than before. Kajus, I think, maybe have recognized.
Ooh. Can punish that? Yes, sir. No trigger to save you. Ugh. Oh, the charge flash knuckle. Oh, that's huge.
Woo. That's a huge amount of stun too. Grab's gonna do it. Wow, that was a legit punish. Shout outs to Torpon. Again, as you said, I love the description, stable style. There was a brief time in that last round right there, maybe 10, 20 seconds before that, where I kind of felt like he was starting to change it up in ways that Kajus was gaining prediction about, but very, very quickly went back to playing that stable style, and that's really what carried him through.
Yeah, and I gotta say that was great reactions overall. Like, not even just stable in regards to like neutral, his offensive pressure, his decisions he made for combos, but just knowing full well what Kajus wanted to do, especially being ready for an overhead that hasn't been shown. Like, that card hasn't been shown at all, and like I don't even know he was gonna be within range to even block that. So, really, really good decision making overall, and good reactions from Torpon, anticipating what Kajus wants to do. But it's not gonna be the end. Again, we just went through the winners quarterfinals. We still have all 4 of these players with another shot at life down in losers round 2. And speaking of, hopefully we get to flip the bracket and take a look at who's on the loser side yet again. To prepare ourselves, it's going to be M16 versus Maiko. I hope I'm saying the name right. Maiko. Norway versus Finland. Chun-Li versus Birdie. Now that seems like a matchup that Birdie... Actually, no, to be honest with you, I think, you know, a lot of Chun-Li's normals are now easier to whiff punish, if I'm not mistaken. They made it a little bit more manageable to handle, like the heavy normals, right? Heavy punch, heavy kick as well. Being able to duck heavy kick is also a big deal, but still one of the biggest deterrents that Birdie has. I even remember certain players kind of counterpicking to Chun-Li specifically for Birdie. Punk, right? He would actually go to that matchup pretty often and just opt to go Chun-Li. But as it stands right now, M16 versus Maiko. 35 and 30. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, a couple of young folks.
Is that an East Coast Throwdown hoodie on Maiko?
I think it is. I love it.
That's awesome.
So for M16, got sent down here by Kajus, who we just had a chance to look at. Maiko sent down by Ixion. For Maiko, SF5 was my first fighting game I started to actually learn how to play. So we've talked about folks who started in ST, in Third Strike, in Street Fighter 4,
3DS.
And now, yeah, 3DS,
you
but in
put respect on
SF4, and now in Street Fighter 5 as well. I love to see that progression. Always a good look when a scene has people who have been playing for all these different amounts of times, including the more recent blood as well.
Yeah, and it's from a later age group, too. Like, in his 30s and started off with 5. That's pretty good. That's a pretty big impact.
Totally, totally, yeah. And when I say things like new blood, that's not to say that, like, you need to be young in age, right? Like, I'm talking about, like, Street Fighter generations, fighting game generations. Very, very cool to see that has been continuing out there. So here we have the characters that we expect. Chun-Li versus Birdie. M16's fact about himself, by the way, is I suck at fighting games. Well, you're here in the top 16.
I share that sentiment,
buddy.
Man.
You're here in the top 16. His quote is, I can't beat Birdie for the life of me. So, you know, I think this is him trying to, yeah. Look at the movement so far.
You know, I'm going to say this right now. Even if you suck at fighting games, as long as you're having fun, that's the goal.
That's true.
That's really the goal.
That's true.
I still have a lot of fun getting body, learning from it.
No doubt about that.
I also haven't seen this battle outfit ever used. Out of the like 26 alternate costumes that she has, I think she has more costumes than characters in the game. And that's not like crazy to say either. I think that's pretty much accurate. I might be wrong.
Oh, Michael with the big confirm. He's got trigger 1 and ready to bust it out. However, same for M16. So I like Michael trying to be outside of that easy activation range.
Oh, you're dead. You're hella
Beautiful.
dead. Even if you weren't dead, you were stunned.
Yeah, that's right. And he started that off from outside of crouching strong range from Chun-Li, so it was outside of where she can easily activate into plus frames for the first part of the trigger 2. So well done by Maiko.
I was expecting any sort of bust out because look at how much meter that M16 has just been holding on to. No punish on the sweep. You could have done EX legs. If
Surely, yeah.
Oh, this is great.
We've seen confirms on 2 out of the 3 of those.
Oh, my lord. Still able to try. Yo.
Mr. I suck at fighting games.
Michael jumped the fireball and she was still able to dash up and back roundhouse.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Again?
Yeah. That does require that you put yourself in the right spot as Chun-Li. You know, you got to think ahead a little bit there. But shoutouts.
Oh, no. Also, I know that movement anywhere. That's definitely a hitbox player.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. Oh, get out of there! You gotta get out of there!
The murderer's coming in.
Yeah.
So backing off. Follow-ups are not going to be plus.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think you could have EX legs on the way down. Oh, that was a good extender!
Right, right. Unfortunately, late on the
Get out of there again! Where's the trigger?
God, no! These are no red whiffs!
What is happening?
Michael lives, but just barely. Anything will do it for M16.
Oh, my lord!
Wow.
I thought he was going to swim right past that fireball and hit the tippy toes of Chun-Li's legs. That was actually mad scary.
All right, settle it down, settle it down.
October's not even here, man.
Yeah.
Slow down a little bit, Michael Myers.
Empty.
Oh, boy.
2 out of 3 success on that. Oh, beautiful range from Maiko.
Give him the dolphin. Give him the birdie dolphin again. Oh, there it is. Here's birdie. There it is again.
Oh, no. What a block.
Oh, what a check. He wasn't even done yet. Like, that was, yeah, that raw activation wasn't elite to a lot. You have to have it backed up by a normal most of the time.
We saw something whiff. I don't remember what it was. I think it was crouching light kick whiff from Chun-Li. And maybe that was supposed to have been legs, just thinking back to what it could have been into an intended activation. Didn't work out like that. I do really like that Maiko, as you said, pressed the button on reaction to the activation. Not free. You don't get to just do that. And although I don't think that was the intention from M16, Maiko nevertheless was really ready for the punish on that.
I want that, and I love that it's punishable. Okay. And so we think about this matchup a lot. I think we've seen it more often than not. Birdie does have like the normals to kind of contest, right? A lot slower though on the reach and on the recovery, but still pretty far enough to contest.
Definitely a huge part of the match.
Oof. Oh, EX legs, please.
Maiko ready for activation. Here it comes.
You can stop that.
Yeah.
That's cool. A little bit of a float on the way down. No punish on the sweep again, but it's fine. He'll finish this a lot of meters, so it's not going to be like the game ender, but it's still, you know, finishing out the round in a very expensive manner. I feel like he's been very reluctant to use any sort of block throughout the entire game thus far.
Well, there was maybe the reason different people prefer to do super rather than spending EX on other stuff.
I get it.
I know. They all have different styles. Maiko, after he was right up close, brought out the command grab.
I like saving up for the big boy purchases at the end of the month. Makes sense.
Oh, unfortunate for Maiko. Now he's caught in the corner. Birdie does not have the best tools here.
Oh my god, that was sick. That's definitely the movement of a hitbox player. I'm calling it right now.
How dare you?
That was good. Oof. Oh yeah, I love seeing that. I was wondering when I was going to come out again. Oh, that could have been it too.
Beautiful. Maiko was all of a sudden frozen a little bit, looking for EX, probably hoping for hit into activation, but M16 was not even there.
We're looking for an activation if you're Maiko, right? Yep. That's going to be one of the routes.
That's fine. Safe way to get in.
Oh!
Wow, what a walk. That fast birdie in trigger 1 walk speed. really coming into play.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say, do not be susceptible to that again. Put the bullhorn in the armor.
He's glowing. Look at him. He's already glowing. You
Thank
can't
you,
just get up close like that. You gotta be worried about that armor.
You can throw it.
Sure.
That's about it. So far, pretty much tied up. Michael looking at match point right now. The forward fierce. And I love that, way more aware of the dolphin dive.
Yeah, Michael maybe has used it too much early. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. He's got the knockdown. That was, I was about to say the words. That was the situation before we brought out the EX Dolphin, and he got there first.
He's going to do it again. Watch. Block string. Oh, if you don't block that overhead first. Oh, I lied. Stun.
No.
No.
Barely alive. Mix up your plus frames. Overhead the second time, and M16 did not block that one. So Maiko will eliminate M16 and move on. And unfortunately for M16, his prediction came true. Quote, I can't beat Birdie for the life of me.
I feel like that's a mental hurdle you're going to have to get over eventually, or at least until Street Fighter 6 comes out. I got to say.
Whether until then.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, there was certainly...
Unless Birdie gets released or something. Like, I don't even know. So it's going to be interesting. It's like, oh, well, you have to do this matchup again. Like,
right? Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of things that M16 did that I thought were great. I really liked, as you mentioned, the fireball into looking for forward movement or jump movement from Maiko. M16 really had that covered a lot of the time. But there were things that were just unfortunately, I think, not what he was looking for. We saw one there where he got the raw activation into trigger 2. Surely not what he was looking for. We saw him miss a couple of punishes. You know, we saw him block that the first time, but then the mental stack got higher and higher and higher and didn't block it the second time. So there's clearly strength there. I do think, M16, that you can beat Birdie for the life of you. I absolutely think that. I think that's not too far away. But for today, Maiko is the one who ended up doing it.
If there's anything that I've noticed from that replay alone, did you check how often he had nearly full bar on everything as the match ended? Like, every one of those rounds ended with him at least at like 2 or 3 bars. I would have loved to see a little bit more of the threat on reversal. I think he only utilized that once as a reaction against the dolphin dive. I haven't really seen it as a choice on wake up.
That's right.
I would love to see it more as, like, you know, into like a block string into V-trigger activation to give yourself that kind of advantage. Or even just as a block string for like -2 situation and maybe steal some turns back as well. We didn't really get to see any sort of meter utilized. So that's one of the things I think there's a huge takeaway here. If you are tuning in, I think there was a lot of potential there in that matchup with just the amount of meter you had alone. But either way, Maiko is going to be the one eliminating M16, moving on to play against Kajus. But before we get there, Ferry versus Hesscraft.
Coming up next, we have Hesscraft lost to Dr. Gulag, ended up beating Bigfoot to make it into the position that he's in.
He found Bigfoot.
He did.
And
he
eliminated
did it.
him?
Not in the Pacific Northwest at all, it turned out. It was way far away.
I feel like it's been a while,
Hesscraft
a long
from
while since we
Göteborg,
first saw him. So.
Ed is the character that we're expecting, and on Ferry's side, we're expecting Sakura. Again, we've been talking about all these different generations of players, starting with different generations of fighting games. Here's a fact about Hesscraft. Most days after elementary school, I played Street Fighter II on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System with friends. What year is it now? That was his question. A question I often ask myself, we're similar age. A question I often ask myself when people ask, how old am I? I have to do the math every time.
Yeah, I stopped counting after 25.
You got to do the math at some point. But no, I think that's very cool. I was in the same boat, man. That's when I started playing Street Fighter. I didn't live next to an arcade. I lived out in the suburbs, and we played Super NES with my brothers and the other kids in the neighborhood. So I started in exactly the same position.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was the first video game I've ever played. The first cheat code I ever remembered was down or up LYB on the Capcom screen.
Boom!
Gets you the mirror match option, which was huge. I didn't know that. I was just like, oh, what did this code actually do? It's like you just get a different color. It's like, no, you get to play against the same character.
Can you believe it?
This is cool.
Can you believe it? That's actually before Super Turbo came out, so I'm going to date that to the Super Turbo player, who I think was Gulag. Yes.
Like, imagine like not being able to play that mirror match as like a base function.
I do recall.
That's kind of wild, but
it was a different time.
It's definitely a different time.
So at this point now, we're looking for Ed versus Sakura. Ferry says, the quote, "Gonna do my best." Rooting for him. Ed versus Sakura. One of them will make it through.
And we've seen like a influx of Ed players that have been coming out of the woodwork. on all walks of life, really. I think, the PR has Ajax Fidelity.
Oh, yeah.
I think there was like a Ending Walker as well.
Oh, yeah.
Playing that Ed. And now we just see like more and more of them come out. And it's we have Corey Bell from the West Coast. From Southern California as well. I wouldn't say coming out the woodwork because he's been
around.
Pretty big mainstay for Southern California.
For sure.
But this character is a phenomena. Like, he's had so many different changes for like this season in terms of like the damage potential and just like overall consistency off of like lows and even off of flicker too. Being able to spend that bar to get that continuation is so important.
I agree. He's very strong this season. He's found the corner quickly. Sakura, no slouch, and she's got the corner just like that. Big chance on the whip. Just didn't expect it.
Yo, this guy Hesscraft is using every ounce of his psycho power to stop Ferry. Like, quite literally. I haven't seen him stop using any sort of, like, V-skill 2s, any sort of flickers. This man has been all over the Sakura. There it is again. I feel like there's a couple of moments where Ferry's trying to, like, counter-poke it. I can't tell.
Oh, here we go. Ferry taking his turn well. And maybe a little more patient now. Trying to be at range. We did see the confirm from Fierce into roll, into damage before from Ferry. There it is.
I thought after like jab VP you would get okay. Is it just medium or am I tripping? Back throw. You're on borrowed time.
That's for sure. With this thing coming in, beautiful timing from Ferry.
Oh, that's gonna be sick. I was expecting her to just hold that, but either way, Hesscraft just jumping on the other side, getting the low medium. Sorry, the low short, punishing what was it, the back Fierce from Sakura. I haven't seen that utilized as an anti-air. Man, that costume is something else. I forget he has like a school outfit. Very Harvard University-ish, kind of. I don't even know. You're like raising your eyebrows. You know that look. So
what do you? I don't know what you mean.
You know that outfit, I guess.
What? No, I don't.
You tell me.
I don't know.
You're like the college dude.
I didn't.
You're the college dude of the CPT.
I don't think that's.
Look, what does your jacket say, man?
Leave me alone.
Going into it again, Hesscraft did have the initial game, but this is going to be huge, right? A good amount of damage. What I love about Sakura is her burst damage.
Oh, sure, yeah. Great movement. She's got a ton of strength, too. Yes. Got to make it unpredictable for the opponent. Beautiful!
Look at this. And just being able to extend it off of trigger 1.
Gonna put within grab. Yeah, Hesscraft's in trouble. Plus strength there. Oh, but tried to walk too far forward.
Uh-oh. You can't DP out of this. You can actually critical arm.
Yeah, this actually may be death.
You're hella dead.
No.
Oh, you gave it away. Trying to jump the V trigger 1 is not always going to work out in your favor. More often than not, you're going to get clipped. Even if you do manage to like maybe jump forward, Ed's literally just waiting on the other side looking to anti-air you, right?
Yeah, it's not an easy situation. So it's match point now for Hesscraft. Jumps in, Ferry's forward movement thwarted just like that. Oh.
One of the examples, again, Ed being able to anti-air so effectively. Even from further out, he still has medium kick, and look at that. One of the extenders, one of the things he got off of flicker.
It's going to put Ferry in a very bad situation.
Not within throw kill, though, but now he is.
Got to make it count. Yes. Plus ranks.
Checking the movement. Oh, you thought you were going to keep him still, Hesscraft. With a very, very bold decision to go for the neutral jump at that point in time. That's just right place at the right time.
Shoutouts to Hesscraft. Moving on with the Ed. Looking good in doing so. I thought there was some nice stuff out of Ferry's side, but it was not quite enough. So Ferry from Bærum, Norway will be eliminated. And Hesscraft from Göteborg, Sweden will move on.
I think there's a lot to be said in regards to Ferry's options on offense. I think Ferry did a fantastic job of like applying the pressure and getting some of the big combos.
Sure.
But more than that, I think off of this situation where Ferry gets like the knockout and activation, right? At this point in time, right, you're close to killing off of the frame trap. I think it'd be better if it would be best to pretty much stay in front of your opponent's face to kind of have the threat of maybe like a light tick throw normal, just to throw straight up instead of, kind of telegraphing you're going to go for a normal. You eliminate all the other options on offense to make it a lot easier for the opponent to guess.
Right. Well, that was the choice, and it didn't work out, unfortunately, for Ferry. So Hesscraft moves on. His reward will be playing against one of the favorites of the eve, Rikemansbarnet, for moving on into that top 8. Kajus and Maiko, the other one that we're going to see later on in round 2. Remaining still in round 1, we have Furbylon versus Medar and Veggie versus Sorgmantel.
We're already at 3 rounds, or 3 games. That was actually quite quick.
Yes, sir.
Super impressive either way, all across the board.
It was going quickly. You know, we're moving through it to the next round pretty soon.
Pretty soon, you say?
Pretty soon.
No, absolutely. All right, well, I totally agree with that.
Pretty soon.
Speaking of pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
The Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel is now available for download in China with the global version. When?
Pretty soon.
That's right. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter. When?
Pretty soon.
I agree to that.
Let's talk about other stuff that's going on. Unfortunately, pretty soon, the CPT is going to be on break. We're going to be on break for the next couple of weeks, in fact. Got other stuff going on. But make sure that you join us when we return with the Asia region. That's going to be open for registration on September 26th. The event itself will be a little after that. We have a ton of information for you on CapcomProTour.com. October 15th will be the date of the Asia 2022 CPT.
We don't have any events from now until October 10th, huh? I see.
Taking a little break. And then after that, we're going to have EU West. Of course, both of those regions, Asia, EU West, tons of top players in both. We have folks who have made deep runs / taken the big dubs at all sorts of events around the world from both of those.
Yeah, and we're also getting into that final stretch of the World Warrior events, too. Just to kind of remind you folks, between the 15th and the 22nd, I think even earlier than that, you get that new rotation of these events getting through their World Warrior events, and it only lasts until November, right? So that shot to get into the big dance and join pretty much the phenomenal world players on that big stage is almost coming to a close. Like this is the big ticket, man.
Do it now.
This whole World Warrior project is like a dream come true for a lot of these competitors, man. Like being able to get those extra spots in. I think it's a great initiative overall to, one, be in tune with your community and also like practice up, but two, being able to achieve that dream of like hitting that stage is something that every competitor should really strive for in regards to Street Fighter V.
Absolutely, man. Last time in this region, it was Rikemansbarnet who ended up taking that. He's now in loser's side, going to be a little tougher for him. We have more folks in loser's side, though, and after this break, we'll get right into that.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned to defeat. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are Street Fighters.
You call, I answer. Pushing you on the scene. Man, come on, I'm ready to go. Calculated. We do this all day, every day. Kiwi. Remix time. Woohoo! Here we go. Now, put me. Ninja. Star. Sniper. Make way for the Ninja Star. Time to play. You gonna keep me waiting, babe? Time And only one of us is allowed to do the killing.
Raised by the savages, know you couldn't handle this. Everyone who battled me, they falling like an avalanche. Got them falling back to back, take them all just hand in hand. Y'all going home, so better pack your bags. I'm a heavy hitter, come take a sip of this potion. Float like a butterfly, I'm floating like the ocean. Battle cries of music to my ears, I'm the composer. Y'all can never hurt me, got you wilting like your roses.
Well. Welcome back to the CPT, where we're looking at Nordic and Baltic region today. We have a bunch of countries represented. We've gotten a chance to take a look at quite a few. We've gotten a chance to take a look at quite a few different characters as well. And almost all of the players, but not quite everyone yet. We still have a couple more matches in first round of losers to get to. I'm Ultra David. With me is Vicious.
We had a couple of players drawn in pools going into the loser's side, as you may or may not have seen, right? We got our first two players that were actually eliminated, M16 and Ferry, via Maiko and Hesscraft. But going further into the bracket, we still have Furbylon versus Medar. We have Veggie also versus Sorgmantel. Very curious to see how this is going to play out. And also, even round two is looking pretty fun overall. I think just the overall characters that we've been seeing, the playstyles we've been seeing have been very entertaining to watch through and through. So Furbylon coming in from Sweden, rocking the Ryu or Jury, maybe both. Medar coming from Finland, rocking the Dalsim.
From Helsinki, Finland. Furbylon from Göteborg, Sweden.
I wasn't gonna say it. I didn't want to be an American and like.
Oh, there's no way I got it right. But I'm trying out here. We have Furbylon, age 24. The Ryu is the character picked up on the top. We'll see if that's indeed the choice. For Medar, Dalsim is the character. And this is a character who's a pretty good character in terms of characters this season.
Look at the hair on both. I gotta say,
so
these
cool.
guys got it down.
Looking good out there.
You guys are living the dream.
Looking good out there. You can follow them on Twitter down at the bottom, or hear from them directly by hearing what they have to say.
Let's take a look. Furbylon with his quote going into it. Never played against Medar before, so not much to comment on. But if he is playing Dalsim, I am definitely going to have to switch up my game plan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, if you're a Ryu player, I do feel that it's a tougher draw. I think that Jury has the kind of mobility to still make it work versus Sim. But in either case, Sim is just a very strong character this season. Not going to be an easy draw regardless. For Medar, as the Dalsim player, he says his quote is, I plan on keep pressing stand medium kick to the bitter end. Nice.
Not the better end, but the bitter end.
The bitter end. That character, that button, I should say, changed this season. And I'm not sure that I think it's nerfed. It's nerfed in the sense that the pushback's less.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the pushback being less means
that you could press it more, man.
It means you get to press it more and deal more gray life. before the opponent gets pushed out of range. And you still have buttons like stand medium punch if you want the bigger pushback. And I guess also now stand fierce crush counter, so that's pretty cool too.
It knocks down. It knocks down, David. How'd you feel about that when you saw that change?
Fantastically happy.
Yeah. I saw all the Dawson players rejoicing, or I felt them in my bones rejoicing.
All right.
And everybody else was like, "Oh, this is great. Dawson got nerfed." And then I was like, "No. You guys don't understand. You guys don't understand.
Yeah.
What do you mean?" Like,
so it is Jury. I think that's a good call. We'll see if it works out. Says, I think Jury's V-Trigger 2 is viable. That's the fact. But did not go with V-Trigger 2.
I don't know if you would necessarily need it. Like, how often are you going to be absorbing EX meter from Dawson?
No, I think you're right. I would think that Trigger 1 is a better match.
I think that question could be said about any character. How often would you need to like absorb EX bar from anybody?
I mean, some people like V-Trigger too, man. It's got a little restand on it. You know, it's got some strengths now.
You get some really nice like plus frame scenarios, or even like some continuations on like combos. But you can do the same for V-Trigger 1.
Sure.
Right?
And we just saw a huge reason to pick V-Trigger 1. The forward movement out of it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the range that Medar wants.
Oh, you still get to catch? Oh, that was too far. It was actually airborne, so my mistake. It'd be a really tough call to even try to catch that.
Medar just looking for buttons at this range, trying to stay here. Yeah, backing off and charging a V-skill. Very important for Jury in this match.
Very much so. Medar actually can't commit to any sort of fireball. I think Furbylon might be able to whiff punish a limb with V-skill 1. But I don't think he's looking for that either way.
Yeah, Medar's doing a great job at not overextending. You're right. He can't easily...
Oh, that's the one! That would have been it.
He can't easily do that, but he got away with it. 18 on the clock now.
Oh, no! That's punishable.
It sure is. That's okay. You know, just a buff that they gave him this season. Shoutouts to Capcom. Good work. Good work out there.
They buffed him so hard.
What? I don't know about that.
They put him into 6. That's a pretty big buff.
He looks super cool there. So a big part of playing against Dawson well is just making sure that Sim doesn't know where you're going to be. And right there, I like the walking and blocking for Furbylon. Huge part of playing it well. She's up close. She's got throw loops mid-screen, they say.
Kinda.
Look a little bit.
Kinda.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Dashing in, not jumping. Yeah, doing a great job right now. Oh,
Up until this point.
Would have been plus on block.
Furbylon still out of range, not trying to get hooked up. Does have fully stocked everything other than V-skill 1. We're going to see an activation. Yeah, there it is. I feel like a little bit earlier would have been a very tough situation to even try to handle. You know how tough it is. Oh, that's huge. Uppercut. Oh, no, you're going to go for the rest of the full hop. Oh, you had it. Uh-oh. Don't go for that critical arm. Oh, but the overhead's cool. We've seen the last time an overhead was used as Jury, and man, that scared the heck out of me because we've seen what happens. Like, we got a full-on punish from Torpon the last time we saw a Jury.
That's right. Yeah, great movement right now. Jumping at an unorthodox time. The walking and blocking is looking good. Here's the big chance.
Oh, boy. Damage on the table. Just missed opportunity.
And catches the dash, too. So Furbylon's playing great right now.
Oh, that's such a great read.
Yes, huge into the corner. Knockdowns here. Medar in trouble.
That was so expensive. Watch out for the... I was going to say, we still have medium normals to contest against.
That puts her down in the flame, though.
Oh, no punishment.
Too close. Medar trying to block it up. He does. Oh, what a punish is this, man?
But what happens now? The reset? Oh my god, you dashed up after that?
Oh, Fierce was just a little late. It's an unorthodox spot to press the Fierce, but it was almost good, and Furbylon was there just a little bit before.
You had to think to yourself, like, considering all the meter that Furbylon had, I think, you know, one of the biggest things you're looking out for is how is Jury going to activate into V-Trigger. I think the best shot would be trying to, like, clear out the space. I get it was like a scramble situation.
Right.
More or less. But I think, you know, clearing that space out because I think Jury had the advantage to at least press the button first. That would have been a big option there for Medar. But either way, still pretty close.
Great job blocking the medium kick, then pressing the button. You'll see the V skill.
Charged it just in time before the medium punch stuffed.
Try jab anti-air. It's not going to work. Here's Furbylon.
Oh, this is so much control now from Furbylon. A lot more active than we saw from previous games.
Okay, very cautious by Medar.
Oh, we talked about the strength of that medium kick, and look at how much damage this is doing. Granted,
Great spacing. And blocks it out.
oh! Anti-air trade-off there
Oh,
for Furbylon.
huge into offense.
Oh, boy.
No. Oh, boy, Furbylon. However, it still has the
I was
corner.
so nervous for him, too.
Right. Again, the walking and blocking. Gigantic stuff here from Furbylon as he slowly scoots in. Not so slowly there with the dash as Medar caught.
Oh, that could have been huge, but the side switch is there. Instant Yoga Gale back to back. Oh, the anti-air as well. Well spaced from Medar.
He
Keeping
did
it
not.
alive.
He didn't risk it. I love it. He didn't risk overhead low.
Oh, you're dead.
No! He was playing safety first. He did not want to take a risk on the overhead low for the win. Instead, he was backing off thinking, oh, only one more hit. But Furbylon was there first.
Dashing into the cartwheel kick, not a good feeling. Definitely not a good feeling. For the round, nonetheless, not a good feeling. One thing you got to pay attention to is when that V skill is active. That should have been the big no-no on the fireball.
Yeah, is that yellow thing
damage.
down there on the bottom right blinking?
Don't do it again.
Chill out, then.
Medar, don't do it again. He's going to wait for you to do it. Back throw now for the big side switch. Furbylon now gets full control of this corner. Activation, though. The V reversal's too far out. That's unfortunate. Pretty shallow to connect.
Oh,
Ooh.
this is going to do so much.
He's been pretty good at getting these confirms into critical art.
Sure, yeah. Oh, great response. And well spaced on the roundhouse, too. So Furbylon has shown that he's able to play away and get right back in. Again, the mobility of Jerry with V-skill, dash, all sorts of tools.
Excellent with the space. Medar. So checking the movement against Furby. This is going to be huge, though. V reversal is going to hit. No feng shui for free. Just runs into normals again and again and again. I feel like more the damage that Medar has received is because of his own movement throughout the entirety of the match.
He was checked quite a few times. That was certainly an example right there. There were other times, too. I think the biggest story for me is that the movement by Furbylon was really strong. He put himself into good situations. I mean, you're right, that overextensions by Medar, throwing fireballs, that got V-skilled, that kind of thing, were some unforced errors, perhaps. But other than that, Furbylon put himself into a lot of those good situations by having V-skill and by being at the right ranges to respond to overcommitments by Medar. Again, his dashes were good. That EX right there was a huge example for him to get through the predicted fireball. He was able to use V-Trigger 1 and its dashes and its follow-ups to move forward. Yeah, just excellent movement. And if you have great movement, it can be hard for Sim to shut you down.
And we've seen just a handful of repeated mistakes as well from the side of Medar, like outside of movement, like being able to have that V skill as jury is such a big deterrent from throwing, like from characters throwing fireball, right? I think it's more often than not Medar just giving away free damage and just giving up his positioning more often than not, because the biggest thing about Dalsim is that you have to stay away from your opponent. He's supposed to be zoning you, quote unquote. But more often than not, he's going to be playing that game, right? That's one of his main objectives. But
Sure.
it's funny. His zoning game is it takes a backseat to his actually offensive capabilities up close.
How dare you?
That's true. It's true. Veggie versus Sorgmantel coming up next. But again, Furbylon's reward is being able to play Kung Martin. Man, this guy is aggressive.
Chill out up there.
Veggie's a beast. He's actually one of the nicest guys. he's genuinely, like, he's actually a gentle giant. Sorgmantel, however, I have not seen him play just yet, but Falk, also another one of those characters coming up from Neo Shadowloo, coming in out the woodwork, I should say. The Four Fills, rocking this character for so long, and finally seeing like some really significant changes in Street Fighter V has really propelled him above and beyond a lot of the competitors.
She's very strong. I do agree with that. I'm looking for a birdie out of Veggie, who again is sent down to losers here by Torpon, who we saw earlier, said he was confident, and then showed why he was confident in making the next round of winner side in the top 8. So Veggie now in loser side has to try to battle back through. He says, in terms of his quote, "I'm not sure who Sorgmantel plays, so I can't have too many thoughts about it. But Sorgmantel says, I should be able to put up a fight. If he plays Birdie, it's a good matchup for me." So I like that coming in, feeling that he's confident in that character matchup, that he knows what to expect. I expect Veggie to play Birdie as well. I think that's a good expectation. For Sorgmantel, again, we've been talking about all these different like generations of fighting game players.
Right.
Sorgmantel's fact is, I started playing Street Fighter V in 2019.
That is actually one of the
Shout out to him.
really, really
He also
good
says,
years. Yeah.
I only played Street Fighter 4 some in arcades in Japan before that. So
That's a big deal. Listen,
So,
listen.
only played Street Fighter 4 in Japan.
It's a difference when you say I've only played Street Fighter 4, like a little bit. Or something.
only a little bit.
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit.
But then when you add in Japan,
in arcades in Japan.
yeah, that is a whole different meaning.
For sure.
Yeah.
So shout outs to
Be a little
Sorgmantel.
disingenuous here.
No, I love it.
A little
Let's go.
disingenuous.
So it is indeed Birdie versus Falk, as we were looking for.
Man goes to like Hey Arcade or like Taito Station.
Right.
He has like a collection of cards with different characters. You know, I dabble. Just like the other businessmen off the train.
Right.
Coming home from work. Either way. But I do like this matchup, I think, for Falk a lot more than I do for Birdie. I think on a very shallow level, she can space out Birdie pretty well, right? Not even with just the normals, but with the projectiles.
Yeah. And with the ability to get knockdowns pretty often. She's got great damage up close when she does find the right knockdowns. Oh, let it go. Trigger 2 is the choice for Veggie. So he's looking for confirms now. Sorgmantel's trying to be outside of those ranges.
Yeah. And he's still 2 also. Very curious about that one. Either way, Sorgmantel could bait out a throw. No, it's in a down 4 roundhouse. As the meaty choice.
Oh, tried it, yeah.
Don't get command grab. Oh, and you know, Sorg might have thought the same thing. It was either any sort of grab that he was looking for, hence the panic buttons, EX uppercut, not going to find a mark.
Round 2. Fight.
So I think we do see part of why Sorgmantel said he was confident. A lot of that round was him being at the right spot on screen. But look, it's always a big thing for Birdie to be able to make big damage happen.
You see that bubble burst and you think to yourself, it's like, man, I was actually within range for that to hit me? More often than not, yes. Yes,
It's huge, yeah. It's got a big hitbox.
Oh.
Right, actually waited for the spacing trap medium punch. I love that from Sorgmantel. He got the whiff punish on the intended spacing trap whiff punish. Oh, beautiful. This is stun. This is maybe the round?
Possibly jump in,
Yeah,
okay.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he wasn't even done with that.
No.
Not even finished with his plate. Not a single bubblegum spent for Veggie. Gets to keep it in his pocket. Gets to throw out the donuts in celebration. I never know where he gets the big one from, though.
What do you mean? You saw him pull it out right there.
From where?
What do you mean
David?
from where? You saw it?
It wasn't even protruding.
Maybe you're
like,
uncomfortable with the answer, but you saw where it came
you know,
from.
you would have seen it come from the back. You know, don't worry
You
about
saw where it came from.
I didn't, David.
You know, I've been talking about the World Warrior results. I've incorrectly been saying that there have only been 2. There have, in fact, been 3. And in the most recent one, Veggie got 3rd place to only Phenom and Rikemansbarnet.
Yeah.
Got 1st and 2nd. So Veggie continuing to look strong in the regular, frequent stuff going on.
So he's gotten first 3 times over then.
Phenom
technically.
has, yes.
Yeah, Phenom.
Veggie 1st, 2nd, and 3rd has, I'm sorry, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th have been his results.
I see. Okay. Still a good amount of points either way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. And look at the amount of control now from Sorgmantel. Not going to make any sort of mistakes from the last game. The previous game, I should say.
Yeah, there were some overcommitments here and there. He just got. You know, there's just a lot of damage. Yeah, like there's just a lot of damage sometimes out of Birdie. Oh, beautiful. There are lots of characters who can have trouble dealing with that stand fierce. But Veggie, especially when V-Trigger 2 is already active, you can see how much he gets out of things like whiff punish fierce.
And then being a big opener off of that, still leaving damage on the table. No conversions from the side of Sorgmantel. A little bit of reluctancy now. Not as much activity. There we go. We're starting to see the shot being fired. Yes, sir. Look at that. Just chip away. Built some meter also. There's just so much you could do. Like, that's huge. Oh.
Tricky. Uh-oh.
I don't know what that may have been on the side of Sorgmantel in terms of what he saw.
He's charging us. There's the knockdown.
Yeah, I like this.
Birdie.
I like this a lot.
Look,
Sorg.
and Veggie, I think, is okay with taking that damage to get Trigger 2. You've seen the utility of it. Sorgmantel. Oh, here's a huge confirm. This is so much damage.
And he brings it up.
Next hit is for the kill. Oh, he didn't get the confirm. He didn't get the confirm. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Sorgmantel lives. But if he activates, he is at risk of chip right away.
Yeah. Sorgmantel's got 2 things on his plate, right? He has critical art. Oh. That's huge. Yeah, you're not gonna get out
look,
of that.
as soon as that was the situation, you were in trouble. You were at risk of being chipped, even unblocked. He had his own super. I mean, you know, there were things that he could have done if he had predicted it, but just not what he was looking for. And Veggie with the wake-up super will take it and move on to the next round of losers. All right, I hear you, Veggie. I can hear him yell. Look at that face. He's yelling at me right now. All right, you've made it. Congratulations.
I don't think I've ever heard him yell in a negative way, like ever. But he could cheer. He could definitely cheer. He's quite the vocal dude. You could hear him pretty much utilize his chops over on sets with my man's Jammers and Overhaul. So
not
really
going to happen
stuff.
for Sorgmantel. Sent to loser's side.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we talked about what Sorgmantel said previously. Should be able to put up a fight if he plays Birdie. And I do think that there were extended periods of time where he had mid-screen control. But as things went on, we saw that he began to overcommit a little bit. We saw things like his own Fierce being outside of range and Birdie getting the whiff punish. Because V-Trigger 2 was active, there's so much damage on the deck for Veggie in situations like that. And Veggie's approach was really strong. You know, he moved forward at good spots, especially as times went on. He jumped at good spots. He was patient at the times that he needed to be. So predictably, you know, Veggie, very strong player, expected him to do well, and he did, and he moves on.
Yeah, just situational awareness is what I'd like to think about in regards to how that game went. I think there was just a lot more experience on the table with Veggie. Despite not knowing the matchup, he knew how to like generalize the strategies and find counters against them, whereas Sorgmantel was still trying to figure out, like, sure, he has experience against Birdie, but at the same time, like this caliber of Birdie, it's a little bit harder to even figure out what they're going to do next in terms of like what you should do on defense, how to keep this person out, etc. Even towards the end, right? Your game sense should tell you if you have no trigger left and they have a full critical art, it's not going to be a decision to like get a meaty going, because more often than not, you're going to get critical arted. More often than not.
And that is exactly what came out. So we just saw a look there at the bracket. We have 4 matches remaining. We have already winner's side locked up.
Yes.
The remaining matches that we're going to have in these 2 out of 3s are to lock up the loser's side. We're going to go to the first one of those now, which will be Kajus versus Maiko. Of course, Maiko just made it past M16, and Kajus was sent down to loser's side by Torpon, who's, again, took down Veggie to send him to loser's side and looked very strong in that winner's match versus Kajus.
And it's going to be a treat. We get Jury back on deck, as well as Birdie, back-to-back Birdies, really, from Veggie over to Maiko, really enjoyable to watch, because this is the matchup that we don't get to see as often, even in the early phases of Street Fighter V. Realistically, not a lot of people play Jury. Even to this day, not a lot of people play Jury.
Sure.
But at the same time, I want to see how, at least this particular region, between Lithuania and Finland, like what they have to say to each other in regards to like understanding the matchups, because I have no idea who plays Jury out there other than Kajus, and I haven't even heard of Kajus until today, to be honest with you.
Well, you know, as far as Kajus go, he's the only Lithuanian player in this top 16. The others, we have a ton of Finns here. There's Swedes. There's people from Norway. He's the only Lithuanian. It'd be cool if we got that into top 8, right? That would just be.
Absolutely,
I just am rooting for, you know, more players from more different regions. So I think that would be cool. But I guess we'll see if that in fact happens for him. Michael's going to be in the way.
I got my stake in the game. Seeing Jury in there again.
Oh wow.
Is pretty cool as a Jury main.
Wow.
I gotta say, I play a bunch of characters.
I know
But Jury's been like a really fun character to see, like the evolution of her, like season after season after season, finally getting this love. It's been quite the journey for a lot of these Jury players, and it should be rewarded heavily, I feel like. But either way, we're gonna see how this plays out in particular. One of the big things I'm looking for is what the V set's gonna be like for this particular Jury. I feel like having V skill 2 is great to pressure with like certain blocks to trick Birdie players into thinking maybe you're unsafe after charged kicks. But V skill 1 is gonna be it. I don't see a lot of utilization in that V skill in this matchup in particular.
Okay. Well, starting off not great as Kajus is cornered.
Oh, so we thought.
Maybe just playing possum to get Maiko close to the corner.
Have you ever seen a possum actually play possum?
Never. I'm not sure.
I definitely got duped like last week in my backyard. I was like, wait a minute.
Really? You actually got?
I got to see it, yeah. And then he just walked away. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
I love it.
It was pretty cool. Anyways, real cool creatures. Anyways, Kajus, again, having the right idea.
Maybe so that's what V-Skill 1's about.
That's the biggest deterrent against throwing out the can, like is having that V-Skill ready for it. But in certain levels, I feel like, you know, overall V-Skill 2 might be the play. But as it stands right now, this is the level. Yes, I love calling them out like that. Good work from Kajus.
Round 2. Fight.
Charging up right away.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Oh, well, only one hit.
Oh, boy.
Dang.
The fierce is just gonna
The
keep you in check
ranges,
for
yeah,
so long.
absolutely. Michael's still here. He was worried about wake up. Didn't come. Is that stun? It's not quite. Oh, so close. Kajus is out.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, that's a big side switch from Kajus. Gets to extend the combo as well. Free damage off the trigger, and now we get to play the game. Or so we thought. Maiko.
Yeah, we saw a command grab in that situation before, so Kajus buttons out of it. Would love to escape, but how? Maiko's timing on those buttons was excellent.
It's a really difficult call. Even like walking and blocking in that situation just opens you up to possibly a command grab as well. It was a tough decision to make. Kajus couldn't find it. Maiko tying it all up. Full bar from the side of Kajus as well.
Okay.
I love the decision to just go for the kick storage instead of like the V-skill. Oh no!
Oh yeah! Oh my god. Busting through the wall.
Who's gonna pay for this? Ua. I love that risk. Big reward as well.
Ooh, the jab came out to play. Brady with the slow buttons, not good enough.
Oh, that's gonna be huge. Another crush counter from the side of Kajus. By the way, he's gonna be backing up. And that's gonna be a big bait against Maiko. Watch out now. Activate. Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Getting away, Kajus. That was in range!
Oh
It's
my
a
god, that
nutball!
actually hit her kneecap, I feel like.
That's what he grabbed? He grabbed her knee?
Yeah,
well,
that's
it
what it
worked
was.
out. It worked out. Yeah, that was really approaching max range of that option. So Kajus just wasn't expecting it at that spot, I think. I think he thought he was at a safe range.
To be fair,
Not quite there.
I also thought that was a safe range. I thought that was in a whiff.
Right at the very edge of where it was going to work for sure.
I think it was a very fortunate circumstance for my man Maiko. The free one, if you will. Maiko is my governor. The free one is my name. Kajus again opting up for the storage. But one of the things about that is like if you opt to go for like the kick storage, you're giving up so much estate for Maiko to just walk on in there.
Yeah, range or can or whatever it may be. Okay. Maiko caught now on the back.
Oh, that was such an ambiguous cross-up.
Stun is so close. You could see Kajus is really hunting for it, really trying to make it happen. Overhead, it's not enough still. Maiko's defense.
Oh, he still got
it.
This guy is ridiculous.
That was the back of her kneecap.
It was, actually. Because she was like backdashing, right?
I know.
Anti-air. Oh, you're actually going to be dead?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God.
It all went downhill so fast.
After one dolphin dive.
Lithuania on the ropes. Maiko trying to shut it down.
Oh, there we go. The punish on the sweep. That's what we wanted to see from so long ago. Oh, no! Is he 100%, David?
He's just done it super well. The timings have been great. Challenge was there for Kajus.
It wasn't the X.
It wasn't the X.
version.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
You don't count those. Other side? No, same side still. Forward throw. Find the meaty afterwards. Standing medium punch. Always good choice. And a crush counter. A gang of damage. But it's not going to kill.
No, it's in grab range. Right. Okay. Trigger one movement forward into Kajus stays alive.
Yeah, being able to cover that distance. You have two options, right? Either go for the meaty or you can hang back and charge whatever you want. Oh. Yeah, knock him down with the target combo. Catching him mid-air. And there's the can. Watch out now. Ooh! A little bit later, he would have caught.
What navigation?
Oh, that's tough. We've seen this situation from game one. Kajus was not able to contest against the normals that Maiko had. And look at him just flailing away. Oh, you're hella stunned. Look at
It's going to be one mix from
damage.
So close.
Back throw. For jury.
Oh, for jury, it turns out. Activations here. Maiko holds on to the red bar.
Uh-oh. Littering in front of the school kids. What kind of example are you setting, Birdie? Oh, dear God. Oh, it's a bad one. That is for sure. Jury decided to help clean up the mess and got baited into it. Maiko Myers, geez, that was a very scary situation to be in as he closed the gap. Lithuania no longer in the running. Maiko moving on, our first candidate from the loser side.
Maiko from Finland does it in the ECT hoodie. with the big smile on his face.
Good representation.
Shout out to him. Yeah. No, great job in moving forward here.
I gotta
So
say,
he-
that was quite scary in regards to like what had happened in the corner. You can see
Yeah.
it blatantly from this replay. As soon as Kajus gets stuck, he literally does get stuck, right? It's just, it's tough as Jerry. I feel like even within ranges to use medium kick, Birdie has such great normals, such compact normals to whiff punish or even prevent you from pressing buttons, like sending heavy punch as well. So there's a lot to consider in that match, or in the corner at least.
Those timings on EX dive, a huge part of this. In fact, a couple of the big rounds that Michael took were started by that EX Dolphin dive that he really turned into a great snowball. So again, shout outs to Michael. He will move on. He'll play in the top 8. We'll see him tomorrow. That's it for him for today. Congrats. Have a good evening. Hope you rest well. But for now, that's going to be that. We'll see him soon. In other words, you know, in terms of geologic time. Soon. Tomorrow?
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's pretty soon.
Is that soon? Is that soon enough?
That's sooner than most things, I'll tell you what.
Well, that may be right, including the Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel, which is available for download in China with a global version coming soon. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now in China, soon everywhere else, and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter.
And speaking of the best fighters, we've seen who has made it thus far into the Capcom Cup, and little by little, we've been unlocking some of these tracksuits. As I heard that laptop screech its way across the table. The players that have actually qualified, Samurai with that Luke, the 4 Phils with Falk, Mr. Crimson with, what is that, Dalsim as well? Dang. Justicate as Jury, Momochi with Cody, Dookie with Bison, Brandon with Luke again, so I guess one of the Lukes have to change. Medar D with Birdie, Kawano with Colleen, Travis Styles with Balrog, Soul VNG with Seth, Jobby M with Karen, and then Ronaldinho with that Nash. This is a wide array of characters that got their tracksuit colors unlocked. On top of that, if you guys haven't been paying attention, Street Fighter League Japan also has these really, really cool tracksuits that have like the team names on it. I wonder if that's going to be the case for Street Fighter League US coming out real soon. But as it stands right now, being able to unlock all of the colors for your characters. Again, you are going to be rooting for your favorite player that has your favorite character because of the fact that they get it unlocked if they happen to qualify. But as soon as Capcom's over, as soon as the Capcom Pro Tour is over, all the colors are going to be released for free anyway, but it's also purchasable with fight money. So play to your heart's content, unlock all the colors as you wish. Either way you spin it, it's a good time. As it stands right now, we're still looking for 3 more candidates from the loser side. We're starting to see that elimination process little by little, but it's been super exciting all the way through. And you can bet it's going to be even more exciting as we come back to it. So when we come back, we'll finish out the losers round and get into this top 8. What do you say? Sounds good? Great. We'll see you then.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned to defeat. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are Street Fighters.
So then, you really want to go through the trouble? Fine.
Oh, we caught him in Enzo! Real back in the seat. It's like, if this is your first time tuning into Street Fighter League, where have you been? We've been waiting for you.
This is Street Fighter League.
Looks like I can have a little fun now.
We're about to take you on a mad, wild journey.
Oh my god. I was actually in awe.
Street Fighter League is coming to see who is the best in the world. And I'll tell you right now, it's only the beginning.
I will fight you.
Gachiku!
Oh wow,
Gachiku. Oh, that is really unfortunate. You saw that exchange right there. We've seen Sakunoka whip punish it a couple of times, but the jump bags, Kino stealing it all back from Gachiku. You can't jump in the corner! What are you doing? Oh!
Oh my god, just 1 second left and it runs
so
out the
clutch.
Just teasing, just lots of tea. Get the kettle warmed up.
And he gets the stun. That was nasty.
It's even more an international players ball. We're getting players from all over the world. And I said it before, but we're getting the best players here to show you guys off.
No time to be wasted.
I think there's gonna be more than enough to jump in.
There's no escape!
That was actually perfect.
That was actually ridiculous. Can I get the digital scissors on that?
Let's begin.
Look, if you're at home watching, please know that you're watching history right now. Best players in the world. This is a dope set of Street Fighter.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for the pinnacle of Street Fighter V, look no further.
Sometimes I hunt for the
Look at the crowd going mad.
Oh my God.
That's gonna do it. Gotcha, got it. He is your champion.
Hold up. Hell yeah.
Oh no!
Whips. What was that?
Flip that. Was that the
That was so sick.
He is your back-to-back champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the new guard takes out the legend.
This one is where dreams are made.
I said
USA invades the stage.
And I cannot express how much this means to Cool
But this morning I chose to wake up. Everything.
There's no escape!
Anything. Everything. I swear I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Bring it on. It's not enough. Let's party. Everything. Tell them I'm ready for anything.
You have just tuned in to the culmination of years of work.
Just the other way. Somebody call an ambulance. Not for me, but for you.
is the best, without a doubt, Street Fighter V player in the world.
So don't you ever think y'all gon' let me down. Whoa, swear right now I'm ready to fight.
We've got 3 more seats to fill to get into the top 8 from the Nordic Baltic region. I'm Vicious here with Ultra David, and we've been going through a good amount of the cast, actually. I feel like, I think every single character matchup has been pretty wild up until this point, and as well as pretty diverse, right? With the exception of maybe Jury and Birdie.
There's a couple Juries and a couple Birdies. A couple Lukes.
And Lukes,
You know,
right? 2 Lukes, 2 Birdies, 2 Juries. That's what it's been, right?
Sure, yes. But that said, Luke shows up, I suppose. But the other characters being the repeats are maybe not what you would expect. So it's pretty cool to see that. However, I do know one person who thinks that Jerry's maybe the best character in the game. It's true. I do.
Who? What? You're not looking at me with that.
No, it's not you. It's not
okay,
you.
I was like,
it's not you. But that is an opinion that's out there. In any case, look, we have, as you said, 3
Is that just
matches.
a kid? Now you got me guessing. I'm going to guess.
No.
Eventually.
Well, I don't know how he thinks about it, actually. I'm not
Okay.
going to say it.
Anyways, we'll figure it out later.
All right. Let's talk about the next matches that we have. We're going to go down to the loser side where Rikemansbarnet is going to play against Hesscraft. We have Kung Martin versus Furbylon. And then to round things out, KSP Ixion L versus Veggie at the very end. So we got a few interesting ones remaining. Now, Rikemansbarnet, again, took the CPT last year for the region. First place in that. And in the World Warrior, we've seen that he's gotten second in the most recent one. And before that, he got second as well. He didn't enter the first one. So he so far in his 2 entries has gotten second place and second place to Phenom each time. So great results for him. Again, he does seem like one of the favorites of the weekend. However, he was sent down, of course, as you can see, in the winner's side. So
By Yonzai.
By Yonzai, yeah, exactly. So he's still in a loser's side matchup. He's still got a lot to do to get through.
And there was a lot that we've seen from his Menot play over the course of like a year, right? I think this is one of the like shining Menot players. There's just so much control on his side. Fell a little bit short against the Yonzai matchup, but overall, like his performance in regards to like just watching the grand finals from Phenom and Rikemansbarnet, there was a lot to be said about that Menot making that climb all the way back, and that was super impressive. And I feel like it's gonna be something to expect in regards to like it's got to be turning on the loser side now. It's got to be like, all right, this is do or die time. I can't afford to get eliminated by Ed. I was thinking about the character. I'm like, who is he going up against again? It's Ed, a character that you rarely get to see. Again, it's going to be really exciting. I love these kind of matchups. Just seeing how players adapt to some of the characters that haven't really seen the light of day. And that's, I got to be honest. What other Eds have you really seen? What other Eds have you really seen?
I mean, I would think that these guys in this region get to play against the Eds that are in Western Europe and the UK. But I guess now that I think about it, I've heard that the connection between Nordic region and the UK in terms of internet is not that great. So maybe not. I don't know. But look, Ed is definitely showing up a lot more. And if you're going to be at the level that Rikemansbarnet is at, you got to be prepped for that. You know, you got to know what the character is going to do, and I'm sure that he will. Just maybe a different question of, you know, in the moment, even if you know what the matchup is like, doesn't mean that you're going to win, right? There's so many decisions to be made, many strategies to be made and tried. You know, him versus Hesscraft, who got sent down by Dr. Gulag a little earlier, made it through Bigfoot, made it through Ferry, been playing since Street Fighter II on the SNES days, since he was 8 years old in elementary school.
One of the things I do want to talk about also is what the matchup is like on paper. One of the biggest things I like about Ed is being able to have that V skill to kind of navigate around fireballs. I think there's a big thing to be said in regards to like what Menot's trying to do, throwing out a lot of the orbs. I feel like Ed can get around that pretty consistently with one of the V skills, right? Not even just like trying to go for like a snatcher, but actually trying to go like, what is it, like the it's like a bob and weave motion.
Whatever the
weave.
I don't know what the name is, dude.
I like to call it the Dempsey roll, but I mean it's like half a Dempsey roll or like maybe like a quarter of it. But either way,
enough for me.
I think there's a lot to be said in regards to like Ed being able to get past Menot and apply a lot of pressure, because Flicker can really add up. We've seen how much damage it can do over time. Even if it doesn't hit, does a lot of chip damage.
Yeah, definitely.
It builds a ton of meter, and over time you're gonna get suppressed because you're still within range of maybe like a standing light kick, a crouching medium punch, which is plus. You could still take your turns back over and over again. And with Menot's normals, if you don't have that orb either, that could be a problem.
Yeah, we'll see how Rikemansbarnet handles it. We'll see how Hesscraft does. So far, the navigation was almost good, but Rikemansbarnet was there.
And opting go for V skill 1. I think going for that range is pretty good too. You're on borrowed time.
Early V trigger 1 as soon as he had it. It's still there.
Still the side switch. That was actually so great.
It was a great block, but still fine for Hesscraft who gets the corner out of it. Oh, speaking of the corner, just like that, he puts himself there. Hold on.
Got the snatch. Ooh, a little bit too far? Huh.
That time, Rikemansbarnet did react. Got triggered. Rikemansbarnet, yes.
And wouldn't you believe it, Ed also is about to have trigger himself, but unless the
if he lives. Now, if he spends that trigger, he's in trouble.
That was a great block from Hesscraft.
He's going to try it.
Borrowed time.
He's going to try it.
Oh, he could have.
Even if he had blocked right there, if Hesscraft had blocked right there, that might have been in an unsafe spot for the drive. But Rikemansbarnet just knew exactly what to bring out at the right time and space.
That could have been Hesscraft's. You were absolutely right.
Sure.
I think at the angle that the drill came in at, I think Hesscraft would have been able to punish, force Menot back into the orb for big damage.
A punish on the attempted big damage by Hesscraft by Rikemansbarnet, who has the corner. He's got the pressure. The slowness of it is why that worked. Okay, let's go.
Push him out of the orb. Yeah, dash up 2 times over again.
I'm surprised to see that he quick rose there, to be honest. But it all worked out for Rikemansbarnet.
Oh, the jumping! You could react to it like a fireball because there is a big telegraph moment where he charges up. And that's going to be more than enough. Rikemansbarnet showing off the reactions in that round.
Hesscraft's really got to reconsider that. We saw the V-Skill 1 usage at the beginning, and that Rikemansbarnet did not react in the very first instance. But after that, Rikemansbarnet did react in 2 big moments, including to get the W on the game. So got to change how you handle that.
That's one of the biggest things I want to see about like how certain people navigate past the big trigger orb. I think Rikemans has done a great job, but I also think it's up to Hesscraft to kind of understand that these moments are coming. Like this option of them jumping out needs to be heavily considered, especially with Menot's mobility. It needs to be considered.
Well, Hesscraft starts this being much slower about things. Hasn't pressed a button yet. We haven't seen the V-skill. We haven't seen anything else. Finally, one whiff. Oh. The damage is going to be there. The knockdowns here. No meter on Hesscraft's side. Oh, he's in trouble all of a sudden for stun.
Oh, finds a way to break out. You're on borrowed time. Try to contest it with a heavy punch. Is Rikemansbarnet. Oh, the V-shift break. You're still within range. You could have juggled that.
Absolutely. At a range, I think where Rikemansbarnet just did not expect the V-skill to come.
Oh, Hesscraft is just running into normals now. A little bit impatient, just trying to close the gap. But I feel like that's not even the case. I don't think it's a big issue, because Hesscraft's been able to do so without just walking into some of these normals, or without walking and blocking.
That gives him trigger. He's going to back off, of course. He'll try it out. But he's got to be cognizant. He forces the block. At least one grab out of it.
Oh, you're dead!
It hit. It hit.
Yeah, you're deader than dead, actually. I'm very glad that Hesscraft didn't drop that, because he also had the option of doing critical air. But yeah, obviously the smarter choice, using 2 bars instead of 3. Good save.
He tried that 2 times in that range. That was a little closer where he had done it before, and Rikemansbarnet neither time reacted.
That was another time where Rikeman had just run into the charge V-skill.
Yeah.
Just
didn't react in time in that closer situation.
And I wonder what it is, like Rikkeman's trying to react with, right? Is it movement? Is it an
I think so, yeah.
Oh, chase! That clipped.
That's going to be significant damage.
Look at
into
how much
pressure.
you get! And it's a side switch, David. Like, even if it's the blocks, you still get the side switch.
And stun.
This character's mad good.
I think so, too. It's going to be grab range for the kill.
Oh, no counter confirmed, but still a different counter hit at that. Dashing up, getting the crouching short. We've seen this story before, literally in Rikemansbarnet's winner's run against Torpon, where Torpon was pretty much down, looking like,
Yonzai.
what, match point. And it was, sorry, yeah, Yonzai, my mistake, against Yonzai. And he brought it all the way back.
Yeah.
Is this going to be another one of those instances where, you know, Hesscraft could make it happen? I got to say, this Ed's looking a little bit better. A little bit better.
Sure, yeah. I thought there was a lot of much better stuff in that game compared to game number 1.
Offensively, yes.
Agreed.
Oh, yes. That's what I'm talking about. Defensively, now he's considering the options, David. His eyes are open.
Uh-oh.
He's in the Matrix now.
Outside of that, as soon as he saw the whip, he was ready with the fireball.
Ooh.
Wow, what a range to bring that out. And he's going to get the switch on this. So good.
Look at the damage. Oh, you're a little overzealous on that one. Trying to get a throw bait or something a little funny.
I don't know what that was.
That was definitely catching a delayed normal. Anything delayed, yeah.
Okay. Here comes Rikemansbarnet.
Oh, again.
He baited it out. He's going to get super on this. Rikemansbarnet has a chance to kill.
Does he need to spend it? He does need to spend it, unfortunately. But it's, hey, a kill's a kill. We'll take that.
Yeah. No doubt about it. You put yourself in that point here. Until that moment, though, Hesscraft looked like he was still absolutely in it.
I feel like there was a different type of mentality going into it. I think he was a little bit too confident. A little overzealous in regards to what he wanted to do with the uppercut. The first one, at least. The second one was valid. I totally get that.
Sure.
Oh, what are you going to do about that? Yeah, the big counter.
Again, same idea. As soon as he sees the whiff, he powers up the fireball. Rikemansbarnet catching on now, moving in for fierce range.
Oh, big whiff punch from the side of Rikemansbarnet. Oh,
that's punishable, yes. Oh, Rikemansbarnet on point. Making it not easy to get the trigger one going as well. Rikemansbarnet pressuring. Okay, so
time.
The time comes.
Man, again, not considering the movement as an option on defense. Does have the corner positioning, though. No, puts himself. Okay, that was tricky. I thought it was going to be far enough. Punishable again. Hesscraft coming into this, so the risky stuff. And by that, I mean the roundhouses. Trying to catch a normal against Rikemansbarnet.
Oh, here we go.
Ouch.
So fast.
Oh!
Rikemansbarnet will indeed move on. He will stay in this thing. We'll see him tomorrow in top 8.
Not to take away anything from Hesscraft, though. I mean, he played phenomenally. No, for sure. I think a couple of times over, he did sacrifice a good amount of damage in terms of, letting him get punished with the roundhouse, and also the very ambitious uppercut that he went for to catch a delayed normal. Other than that, I think he was playing it so well. He was starting to really understand what it was that Rikemans wanted to do on defense, at least in game number 2, if I'm not mistaken. But other than that, there was a lot of data downloading for him. Just wasn't enough. Got the download corrupted midway through somewhere.
Yeah, right there. I think that Rikemansbarnet was just trying to move. Looking at the round that Hesscraft ended up taking, dashing in when Rikemansbarnet didn't expect. And even at the beginning of this, for the 3rd game, it seemed like Hesscraft was in a great position.
Yeah.
And suddenly everything was changed. I mean, few better game changers than the not trigger one. And Rikemansbarnet's one of the best at using it. Saw how important it was right there. And waiting for the jump. Rikemansbarnet, again, moves on. We'll see him tomorrow to play against Michael.
Really curious to see Hesscraft a little bit more often in the World Warrior series, because I think that it has a ton of potential. The way that he was playing it out, I think I would love to see him participate more in the Salt Mine leagues. I gotta look him up thoroughly, but making it this far, big congrats to you, along with Kajus as well. Going into the next matchup, Kung Martin versus Furbylon.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited to see it. Furbylon from Sweden, rocking the Ryu or the Jury. We did see the Jury against Medar, and then Kung Martin coming in from Sweden as well with the Ken play, actually. Fell short to Dr. Gulag.
From Uppsala, Sweden. Street Fighter 3 was his first serious introduction to competitive fighting, keep in mind. So he's been around.
Talking about Kung Martin, right?
Talking about Kung Martin.
Yeah. And it's cool that he's sticking with Ken. I'd imagine he was a Ken made in 3S.
I mean, who wasn't? Can you imagine?
Me.
Can you imagine if you didn't play a good character in Third Strike and you spent 15 years just spending so much money in the arcades?
That sounds really familiar.
I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean.
What's funny is you can still body a lot of the top tier players. It's fine. I think you can.
What a choice.
You're fine, man.
Good job, Pass David.
I think your Q is fun to play against.
Wow,
on a personal level.
Thanks, buddy.
I love being able to grenade in and use roundhouse palms.
Yes. If you like to do combos, playing against Q is a fantastic choice.
It's a great execution practice. Great session. Either way, but going into it, Kung Martin, we got to see the bits of potential he had with his character as well. A couple of oopsie daisies with a couple of roundhouse, EX Tatsus on the way over against Dr. Gulag. But he had the right idea a couple of times over. He just missed a couple of confirms. It could have been nerves initially. We saw some unorthodox plays off of the hits that he had, mostly from a jump in. He got into a sweep.
That's right, yeah.
Right? But we'll see how this plays out. Furbylon rocking the Jury yet again. We've seen the potential. We'll see if it is enough to take down, go past Medar and into Kung Martin territory. Kung Martin, excuse me.
Very cautious in this neutral game right here. Yeah, having backed up. Oh, Kung Martin bringing out the movement here from Ken.
Is this a light blue outfit, from Ken, or is it all white, but it's just the background or the stage making it look a different color?
I don't know what to say, man.
Some people see blue, some people see green.
Oh no! Wait, really? I think it's gray. Oh no, I gotta get some checks.
It might be gray. I can't tell anymore.
I can't tell.
It's probably gold.
I think they're two different colors, personally. I think the top and the lower are different. Is that wrong?
I don't know.
Back to the match. Furbylon getting into it. However, that means that trigger 1's ready to go. Oh,
that could have been it.
Here it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, that is the online special, the CFN special with that.
Oh, big chance here. Furbylon in trigger 2. Remember, he told us that is viable in his opinion. Oh, boy. The ideas were there, but just not quite where he wanted to be, I think. Kung Martin got the grab. But you see certainly some of the utility of V-Trigger 2. Getting combo extensions, stealing meter.
One of the biggest things I was looking for on top of the damage or the extensions that Furbylon got with that combo was how much of the meter he actually got to drain. That was really cool. He was keeping him under 1 bar the whole time while hitting him. Pretty substantial. Going into it now, the V-ship out of there as the reversal. Full critical arm from the side of Furbylon. Oh, that could have been good punish.
Check. That was so fast. Great reactions. However, oh, that roundhouse. Yep, you know, he's hunting for that trigger activation, but few better buttons in that exact range to take up the space than Jerry medium kick.
I'm good at understanding the situation, not really trying to risk it all. Just standing medium kick is going to be more than enough to handle within like mid to close ranges in regards to being a nuisance and also getting some of that damage.
Ooh. It was the first offensive opportunity in a while for Kung Martin, so Furbylon's choice makes a lot of sense. Oh, wow.
You can see Kung Martin is really eager to try to get that side switch. He's going for a back throw. He sure is. Finds success in it.
Didn't believe in the rest.
I believed in it. David believed in it. Come on now.
Kung Martin had super. No longer. Okay, huge.
Not quite dead.
Could not kill because of that, but yeah. Yep.
No.
The grab did it. But yeah, interesting to note that but for V-Trigger 2, he would have had super to just be able to kill out. So, okay. Anyway, jury loss. But
I love the spacing
V-Trigger
too. That yeah, V-Trigger 2 has been draining a lot of that. I was
Yeah,
looking.
so-
Well, what's crazy about it is he's already had like full critical art numerous times over by the time Trigger 2 activated. So I would imagine like if you're gonna use any bar, that's the time to either critical art or even using the X.
Trying to get a whiff punish on stand medium kick there, I think, with the crouching fierce. The idea is there, but Furbylon getting some hits as a result, too. So Kung Martin finally into the corner.
Now.
We've only seen back medium. I don't think we've seen more of an extension than that. I guess he didn't have the X to keep it going.
Did not, yeah. You wouldn't want to come into the target combo either way. You just give it your turn, being minus. That's totally fine. But now, completely drained. Furbylon again. We haven't seen the meter being used. Oh, boy. I love that. Confirmed from Kung Martin. EX uppercut from Furbylon.
Again, a pretty classic opportunity to use it. I mean.
Oh, that was disgusting.
Let's go. Okay.
That
okay.
is one significant way to call out a dash, and that is that's the round too for Kung Martin. Oh man, did crouching heavy punch? You can't tell me that was a buffer either.
I think it was a buffer.
When does anybody use like crouching heavy punch?
I think he was looking for stand medium kick to counter poke it, to be honest, but he got okay.
I think you're lying.
I don't know.
How do you? Oh yes, the confirms. The low medium into the heavy DP is something that's a classic. And we see that a lot more often than not. Ugh.
We're now seeing Kung Martin dash in. Okay, there's the check. Important to see. All right. I thought Furbylon was giving up on that side of things, but he is still aware.
Uppercut? No anti-air. I legit thought to myself Jerry was going to dive kick.
Oh, man.
I'm already in that mind of thinking.
Uh-oh.
Activation? That's going to be huge. Oh, not big enough. Absorbing the meter on the way through to extend the combo. Furbylon has the right idea. But Kung Martin with a significant drop. Oh, no!
Tricky time.
CFN, please.
The old tricks coming out to play. Still in the back pocket there. And especially in the last round is a classic time to bring that kind of stuff out.
Look at the amount of meter she just absorbs from him. Oh! Very nice conversion. We love to see anything off of crouching medium punch. Checking the movement again. Fireball game. Also hasn't really seen a lot of the that strategy implemented. Oh yeah. Big confirm.
Oh, again, the escape. Furbylon's really been go-to on that. Hold on, here we go. Up close.
So more pressure now. What happens for Furbylon?
Too close!
Oh, you're punished!
Too close.
You're too close.
Kung Martin recognized it instantly and took advantage of it in order to make it into top 8 losers side.
Didn't really get to see the utilization of that meter that Furbylon was so adamant about taking with the use of V-Trigger 2. Kung Martin going to take the most of that. And I will say, Kung Martin finally showing us that confidence. We did see some of those significant confirms. Heck, even a big stop with the dash with the crouching heavy punch. I love that. That was cool.
That was cool. Yeah, and as we said when we saw Kung Martin play over on winner's side earlier, we felt like there was a lot of strength on that player's side. And that maybe there were just some nerves, just didn't quite go how he wanted it to go. So I'm really glad to see for him that here in loser's side, there was more of, I think, what we were looking for, what we were seeing glimpses of in winner's side. So we'll see him again tomorrow in losers top 8. All right, we got one last match.
Yeah.
And it's one that I'm very much looking forward to. KSP Ixion L versus Veggie. Oh my god, these two pictures. Look at these.
Godlike.
Two fine folks.
I love Ixion sticking to like the Nash hairstyle. That's really impressive. As a hair connoisseur,
Yeah.
I think that's extremely impressive. Veggie, on the other hand, looks like he's ready to bench press you.
He's doing it with his eyes right now.
He is, yeah. He's sizing you up. That's what he does.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to size me up. There's not a lot.
Man, Veggie's a gentle giant, though. He wouldn't hurt a fly. But his birdie, on the other hand, a whole different story.
Yes, birdie will hurt a lot. So Ixion, maybe Nash here. He tried Nash, of course, versus Phenom, and that didn't work out. And then he tried Dan versus Phenom, and that also...
That definitely did not work out. We saw perfect and a hood perfect from the side of Phenom taking down Ixion. The only damage that Ixion had done with Dan was off of Dankukyok, and that wasn't enough.
That was chip, yeah.
But I will say the Nash play, that's his tried and true. Like, hands down,
doing
his
it for
tried
years.
and true. I don't think there's going to be any sort of straying away in regards to like this particular matchup. One of the things that we do like to see more often than not is Sobot being heavily abusable in this particular matchup. I think there's also a lot to be said with charging up some of the V skills or the opportunities to charge up V skills against Birdie because of that slow walk speed. So there's going to be some things that, other than projectiles, of course. Sonic Boom is always going to be a problem for Nash, I feel like. So other than that, I think this is going to be one of those matches where Nash can really, really dominate the game.
Just mid-range control, right? And then again, up close, I really respect Nash's pressure in the corner when he has a couple of EXs on board. I think he's got really, really fine corner control and frame traps, and that's a bad spot for Birdie to be in as well. So yeah, I can understand why Nash would be the name of the game. Basically, between those two characters, Nash and Dan, the question is like, do you want mid-screen control or do you want walk speed and up-close pressure? I would understand certainly why Nash would be the choice in this particular matchup, Birdie. But that said, Veggie, I think in his last matchup showed that when it was him versus Falk, a character who also controls a lot of screen, also controls a lot of the stage, that he was comfortable dealing with that too. So it is going to be Birdie versus Nash in our last match of the top 16. One of them moves on. Veggie, again, been killing it in World Warrior. Consistently one of the strongest players in this whole region for many years. At risk of elimination, but Ixion has been strong a long time as well.
And already off to a fantastic start. Veggie had overcommitted to something earlier that was heavily punishable. And now playing just about that mid-range game. But Ixion is actually the one being the pursuer. He's the one playing offense more often than not.
Yeah, in and out classic Nash stuff.
Oof. Can's no longer a threat, but this command grab is.
Just blocked it out. Oh, confirm, yes.
We talked about that Sobot being a real critical issue in this matchup in particular. Oh boy. Red Hot Chili Peppers under the bridge downtown.
Uh-oh.
That was sick.
That was pretty sick.
He still 2-charge? No, he was waiting for it. Either way, Veggie.
Grab was the intention? Surely you can press the button there. Oh. And Veggie is going to take round number 1.
It's that walk speed, man. That intimidating walk speed. Having armor on your special moves as well.
Yep, there it is. And you can probably get it. Oh, maybe he doesn't want to get free charges there for worry about can setup. Could be interesting. Oh, but Veggie again in at the right moment.
No, I think by the time you have your V-skill charged up the second time, I don't think Veggie's able to get a can setup. I think you'd still be able to punish him.
Oh,
I don't know, man.
The overcommitment on it allows Veggie to get the corner.
Oh, great reaction to the Sonic side.
So solid as he walks in, ready for the jumps, ready for the moons.
That was sick.
Remember, EX Zonk was the choice. Yes, there it is.
Charge up? Nope, I lied to you.
Activation. He's got a bunch of armor now, though.
Yeah, it's tough. If he reacts
way too far,
man, he was looking for a dive into the pool, but he was still at the 4 feet area.
He was about to jump in the river in the background.
The river's that way.
Yeah.
Nope, not punishable from that range.
Oh, what a call out. However, Veggie again was just solidly moving forward.
And I love that response, utilizing that V-shift activation with Hot Chili Peppers under the bridge.
Those EXs have been so important for Veggie to get things going. He's got the corner now. Not for long. Ixion out. Okay, the setup comes. Right, it's still coming. It's still coming. No, even versus V-Trigger EX Bull, you just don't want to take the risk.
Oh! That's one of the greater things about Ixion right there. Taking advantage of Veggie's reactions, right? There were numerous times where Sonic Scythe had been an option to, or sorry, Moon Scythe had been an option to close the gap, but going past the body, banking on Veggie to react to it was super smart.
So Veggie at risk now of being sent out of the tournament. Again, we've been talking about how well he's done in World Warrior. We've talked, of course, about how he's been a mainstay of his country's scene and of the region's scene, even of larger Europe scene for so many years.
Right. Very dangerous spot. If you're Veggie right now, Octo, great one though.
Man, he's killing it right now. These whip punishes are so good. Oh!
He's waking up. The bull is waking up.
Maybe a bit of an overextension.
Oh, that was so awkward. What was that? That low profile from the crouching medium punch and then the awkward hitbox shift from the jump medium from the side of Birdie?
Oh, no, way too close.
I don't know, man. Oh, that was cool.
No, that was sick.
How often do you see that actually?
No, especially as an anti-air.
That tragedy assault. I can't remember. I still remember the name.
I don't know if I ever knew it.
You did.
Yeah? Okay.
You definitely did.
Thanks, man. Back to the control for Ixion. He's got V-skill lined up. Veggie with the slow bulldog. Oh, whale!
I love that reaction too from Veggie. And he's just walking and buffering it the whole time.
Almost got trigger.
Oh,
that
you can charge it again.
Yes, you can. If he can just bring it out, that will give him trigger. Yes, he does.
Oh, and he also could set himself up for chip.
Totally. Veggie is at risk. Even though he's got the life lead, there's 16 on the clock.
He can't wait for the trigger to wind down either. Ixion has to be the initiator.
Oh, no! It just whiffed. It whiffed. We saw it grab Jury's knees before, and this time it walked right by Nash's head.
He ain't got no knees, Lieutenant Dan. I'm telling you, man. Ixion had the right idea. He jumped back short. He had already planned on reacting to it. He's like, you know, Veggie, he's shown this card off before. I'm ready for it. Oh, boy.
Here we go. There's a super to think about. Okay.
Out of the corner as well. Here comes the cannon. Not a time for you to charge. No, the tragedy assault instead. Wake up buttons. No meaty from Veggie.
Mm-hmm. Ixion maybe senses that he can do it.
Oh. Oh, God. Trigger is on deck for Ixion. Still a massive comeback.
Big threat. However, Veggie with the whiff punish as he's off and hand. Tried overhead. Ixion's out of there. Low instead of overhead is what ends up doing for Veggie. But yeah, how about that go-to as the jump back jab instant overhead we've seen from Ixion twice?
I think it's far.
Yeah, especially this tall character.
Extremely far. And that hit is what? His overhead?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
And again, Veggie trying to play that space in at least within the range. Yeah, baiting out the fireball. Nice and easy. It's all Veggie now. It's all downhill.
He's seen Ixion blocked and try to jump multiple times. So yeah, the reads right there were classic grappler recognition. I see you block, then jump multiple times. Two ways you can blow that up. One is button, then button again, and other one is instant grab. And we saw each of those options back to back to back right there to end up getting the kill. So classic recognition by Veggie. Very, very smart player. And the matchup is tough, I think, in some ways. But once you're there in the corner and you have corner control, you know, it doesn't matter the matchup. Now you just get to make the guesses, and Birdie's very strong with that.
You're forcing a lot of those guesses against your opponent more often than not as a grappler. But even before that, I think him showing off knowledge of what Ixion wanted to do, traversing past normals he wanted to do, he was punished with standing medium punch into bullhorn, right? Also, using that same bullhorn to get past the sonic boom initially, that was very, very smart from Veggie. Looking to do so again. Once he pushes Ixion to the corner, so long as Ixion does not have V-gauge, it's a problem. But of course, the trigger is there. Opts to get out of the corner pretty early. The bananas. I thought the banana was gone by the time he recovered.
What? Activation for Veggie. Ixion just like that clears the stage. Uh-oh.
I don't know what that was. Or what it could have been. Oh!
great empty jump. That
But
was
nothing
perfectly placed.
of it. It was
Yeah,
perfectly
into nothing
placed.
though. You're right. You're right.
Ooh-wee. Again.
The walk speed.
Forgetting full well that Birdie can blow up your projectiles.
Yeah, and with that extra walk speed, he's got a threat to do that from even farther away. So now, it looked like Ixion was going to run away with this thing, and Veggie is at match point. Just a lot of great bulldogging, walking and blocking, jumping at great spots, keeping his eyes open for things like Ixion occasionally jumping forward.
Yeah, just not really afraid or intimidated by what Ixion has to present. Again, blowing up the option against the Sonic Boom.
Yeah, just like that. We got the corner. Oh, what an escape. Perfect time by Ixion. Got a combo here.
Oh
Okay.
my god, that's huge. Yeah, he is able to do that. That is indeed a frame kill into a meaty. Very, very smart on Ixion, showing significant signs of life.
We got the last match of the night, and it is going down to the very final round between Veggie and Ixion. One of them makes top 8 here.
Up the morning for the West. Here we go. Veggie off to a great start. Watch out for that command grab. Oh boy, I thought he was going to be able to at least catch it backwards, but Ixion again, opting to jump out jump. That was an impressive stop. Good reactions, but oh! Skip to my loot. Here's the chain.
Again, empty jump into patience. Ixion has made that work a couple of times. Down in life, though, and that's not going to help him out. Whip punish here. Veggie, finally EX Dolphin!
Uh-oh.
Anything will do it.
One more touch for Veggie. On the other side, Ixion is begging for an opening.
Just patience by Veggie. Great defense. He blocked it out. And then V reversal at a perfect moment. Can't throw fireballs too closer than that. Oh, even from that range, man, Veggie had it scoped out perfectly. He will make top 8 loser side after seeming like he was about to be eliminated. He ended up turning it all around and eliminating Ixion instead.
I can see him popping off in that exact manner of his character profile.
Yeah, that is a live camera feed right there on the top right.
That guy's quite the animated man. Either way, look at this. In regards to how it went, Ixion was, it seemed to be in control, right? For the first game. Look at this. Maneuvering past everything that Veggie wanted to do. But we started to see a little bit of Ixion's bad habits in regards to the spacing. Like throwing out some of the Sonic Booms that were not in the safest position. Even so, also letting V-Skill 2 rip in front of Birdie more often than not.
Did that a couple times. But he had match point. Twice, in fact. And the range is here. Veggie's understanding of exactly where he could be and let EX Zonk or regular Zonk go were a huge component. That again, just a lot of fundamentally sound stuff. His whiff punishes were huge. He just played patiently and blocked when he needed to. His bulldogging of walking and blocking was excellent. His reads up close were fantastic grappler reads. He just made a lot of really, really great choices. So Veggie will move on. Congrats to him. Eliminating Ixion again, who played great. I mean, I always love watching Ixion play.
Same. Yeah.
And unfortunately for him, it's not going to move on to tomorrow.
And big ups to everybody that had participated thus far, right? Those that have been eliminated, M16, Ferry, Medar, Sorgmantel, Kajus, Hesscraft, Furbylon, as well as Ixion. You guys played very, very well for your region. You should be very proud being able to represent yourself at this stage. Again, that's no easy feat, being able to make it into the top 16. But the World Warrior events, again, another shot at the big dance. So would love to see you guys participate in that upcoming event. As you can see it right here, being able to earn a spot at Capcom Cup via Salt My League specifically for the Nordic Baltic region, a pretty good deal. If you guys don't know the date, well, check it out over at Capcom Pro Tour. That next date should be October 21st, if I'm not mistaken. Then you have one more month to try and qualify for the big dance over in the World Warrior spots.
And that date will vary by region, so that's the case for Nordic Baltic, which we're watching, of course. But if you're anywhere else in the world, please check it out as well. As we've been talking about, we have 26 different regions, 26 different regional champions. Those are being played all the time. So please go over there and check it out. Get involved. Let's play some Street Fighter.
Speaking of Street Fighter, coming in real soon, just to kind of keep production on their toes. Coming soon right now.
Yeah.
Right now, coming soon.
Yeah.
The Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel is now available for download in China, with the global version coming real soon. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now, and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter. I'm very much so looking forward to that as well in the realm of the Capcom Pro Tour because we still have a couple of events going on in these next couple of weeks.
You got a break for the next couple of weeks, but then after that, we will be back with, as you can see right there, the Asia region registration will open up in a couple of days. The actual tournament itself will be on October 15th. So again, a couple of weeks that we're going to be off, but we will be back after that. There you can see exactly what we got going on. The EU West, you can enter that starting in, looks like a couple of weeks. And then October 22nd is when the tournament itself will happen. So look, a couple different ways to make it into Capcom Cup. We talked about the World Warrior before and how that is an ongoing tournament series that you can get into by doing well over time, or you can just get in by winning one tournament. Sounds easy. Easy, I can do that. Sure, just one tournament. That's all you got to do.
Maybe.
Sounds simple. Well, we know who in this weekend's tournament has made it into that top 8 and who will have a chance to just win one tournament. Easy. Tomorrow,
no big deal.
We're going to take a short break and be back to talk about it. You wouldn't go anywhere, would you? You would. Nah. I see you. You're going to stick around. And we're going to talk a lot more about what you have seen today and what you will see tomorrow. I know that you'll be here when we come back.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned defeat. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
I knew it. I believed in you. I knew you would be here when we got back, and of course, everybody is. Thanks a lot for hanging out. My name's Ultra David. I've got Vicious with me, and we have now seen the top 16 for the Nordic and Baltic region on the CPT. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I was waiting for that, actually. I was waiting for you to turn over and give me that handsome look. Let's take a look at the actual bracket itself, right? We had a couple of favorites going into it, even with no neutral, right? Phenom being one of them, Rikemansbarnet as well. But we also had a handful of familiar names, right? Ixion being one of them, a big streamer for the Street Fighter V community over there for Sweden, being the Nash player. But Dr. Gulag as well, being currently 4th ranked in the World Warrior rankings for that region. And then even further on, just the way that these guys have performed thus far, I think a couple of 2-0 shutouts were pretty significant. But one of the ones that stood out to me the most, Yonzai. You see the big 2-1, him dissecting the Rikemansbarnet Menat and taking that W. That easily was the big standout for me in the winner's side.
I think that's right, and especially how it went with Rikemansbarnet going up 1-0, and then not just 1-0, but then up 1-0 in rounds in the next game, and then even at the start of the next round, he was up in life until like halfway through of it. So he was so close to closing it out, and Yonzai made the complete comeback. Yeah, super well played by Yonzai. Unfortunate for Rikemansbarnet. So that's what we're going to see in top 8 for tomorrow. Phenom versus Dr. Gulag, Yonzai versus Torpon, who continues to be somebody who's making it deep run, has made it through some tough competitors, including sending Veggie down to the loser's side. So great job by him so far. All right, speaking of loser's side,
let's take a look.
See what happened. In that first round, we saw a lot of 2-0s. You know, there were some matches, I think, where in each case, clearly everybody had skill, talent, but nevertheless where there was some separations, I think. And Maiko over M16, Hesscraft versus Ferry, Furbylon versus Medar, and then Veggie versus Sorgmantel to round it out, all in their favor. Looked great in doing so. So in round number 2, what stuck out to you here?
I hate to do it to you,
okay,
David, but it has to be the Rikemansbarnet again with Hesscraft, just because of the fact that it was Ed in the match.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot to be said in regards to what Hesscraft wanted to do on offense, but just wasn't ready for the defensive maneuvering that Menat presents. But it went down pretty close. Like, other than that, I would say the other match that would kind of stick out to me would probably be maybe like the Veggie versus Ixion matchup as well. And it's not even just to pick on the stats, not even just like 2-1s, but there was a lot of back and forth in that matchup alone, where Veggie finally turned it up towards the end in a pretty significant force on offense. Like, there was a lot of, I guess, uncertainty from the side of Ixion as to when he should use V-Skill, when he should throw out the fireballs, and Veggie capitalized on that and making those adaptations.
Well, I think those are two notable matches as well, because there are two players in Rikemansbarnet and Ixion, and Veggie, who have been so strong. They have been both doing great in the World Warrior here. Of course, Rikemansbarnet won the CPT in this region last year. Veggie's taken big names down in tournaments all over the world. So if these two were to both go down before top 8, I think that would have been quite a storyline of kind of the up-and-comers taking it over the more established players. But that didn't happen. So shout-outs to both of them for being able to make it through. That said, I think it really shows that there is a lot of strength in the region, that even players like Rikemansbarnet and Veggie, as good as they are still having difficulty making it into the top 8 in the first place.
Yeah, and flipping the script right now, we do have our top 8 established. You can see from the loser side, but this is the full picture, right? Phenom versus Dr. Gulag, Yonzai versus Torpon. Who do you like on this one?
Look, we talked about this at the start, dude. Phenom's the favorite. He goes into this having won each of the World Warriors so far. He is the biggest name in the region when it comes to international results, surely. And although he didn't win the CPT last year in this region, as we just said, Rikemansbarnet did, Rikemansbarnet had to beat Phenom in grand finals to do that, right? So Phenom just consistently makes it into those grand finals moments and consistently, in fact, makes it into number 1 as well. So I do think that Phenom retains the likely favorite here, but I really like what we saw out of Dr. Gulag, somebody who has been coming up against Phenom pretty regularly, who has made top 8 and above in the World Warrior, so he's doing well as well. And then let's talk about Yonzai versus Torpon, because you know, I think when this seeding happened, the seeding was that this was supposed to have been Rikemansbarnet versus Veggie in this spot right here. I think that's what the seeding was. Now it's not how it went, obviously. But in order to make it into this position, Yonzai had to take down Rikemansbarnet and Torpon had to take down Veggie, among other players. So shout-outs to both of these players for being in this position. I really think that's a great look for not just the future, but obviously the current state of the scene.
Oh, without a doubt. So with that in mind, right, you're looking at the Bison versus the potential Luke or Karen, but as stands for Torpon, I think he was talking about his confidence going into it after taking down Veggie. I think that confidence has a lot to say, or a lot to do with the character choice of Luke. Majority of the time, you're playing a character that's very, very strong and also should be confident in a lot of a variety of matchups. I think in the Bison matchup, he's going to be doing just fine also. So it's really interesting to see how this is going to play out. Yonzai, again, with a very, very clutch victory over Rikemansbarnet. I feel like it's just barely scratching the surface of what this Bison can really do, like towards the later ends of like the top 8. But yeah, looking forward to both sets. Going down to the loser side, Veggie versus Kung Martin. Kung Martin has had a very interesting path, right? With the candle, a couple of drops initially, but made his way all the way back after taking down Furbylon.
Yeah, I think he's looking good, but coming up against Veggie, who managed to make it through, as we were just talking about, Veggie's going to be very, very well prepared for all the matches. That's something that you can say about him in general. And versus Ken, he's not going to get caught off guard by anything. We've seen how good his whiff punishing is. We've seen how good his pressure is. And those are really important tools for taking down Ken. But, you know, look, we've seen a lot of great stuff out of Kung Martin, too. So looking forward to that match. And then to round things out, Rikemansbarnet versus Maiko. Rikemansbarnet has had, you know, a struggle of a day, to be perfectly honest. Making it into the top 8 in loser side is not what he wanted. And in doing so, he was sent down 2-1, and then he had to win 2-1 in another close match. So, boy, for his sake, you know, you're really hoping that he figures out, you know, kind of what is standing between him and playing as well as he can. Because when he plays as well as he can, he wins the CPT in his region, right? So for tomorrow, he's going to really be hoping that he's in that state of mind.
On the other hand, Maiko has been near 100% on EX Dolphin Dives. I feel like if that streak continues and catches Rikemansbarnet off guard, that could go downhill pretty quickly. With that said, though, all of these are going to be 3 out of 5, so there is going to be that kind of chance to make those kind of adaptations. In a 2 out of 3 setting, you're getting caught off guard. You're getting frustrated pretty easily on that one, depending on the person. But more often than not, it's pretty frustrating not to be able to react to the Dolphin Dive. But as it stands right now, Maiko has been using that meter, just bodying everybody in his path. I'm actually kind of curious who's the one that sent him into losers, because he's been playing phenomenally with that birdie up until this point. So this is going to be quite the challenge for him against Rikemansbarnet, especially against the Medar.
Ixion is the one who sent him down to loser side.
Man, and Ixion he's had to go back-to-back against birdies. That's
right.
That's rough on the way over. But either way, as it stands, everybody that's participated thus far, everybody that's been tuning in from wherever region you're tuning in, we appreciate you first and foremost. There's going to be a lot to look forward to in the top 8 for the Nordic Baltic region. And again, if you guys do not know, at Capcom Fighters is where you get to check out all the information, all the updates, and they tend to retweet a lot from time to time in regards to who's winning some of these World Warrior events. But if you haven't done so already, specifically for the Nordic Baltic region, salt my leagues. These guys have been putting down for their region for a very long time. Please, please, please show them all the love possible. And of course, if there's anybody in mind that you may have like some information about, always feel free to hit us up on Twitter, wherever you can, even in chat. we'll have producers put it in our ears as well. So we do love seeing all the information coming through from everybody across the world. With that in mind, okay, that's going to be pretty much it. Our top 8's going to be pretty much settled. I forgot, David. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you what. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been quite the top 16. We'll see you guys all tomorrow for top 8 here in the Capcom Pro Tour. Good night.